Sun Devils. When they open the season at home, they have won 21 straight games, and it's college football at FS1 in a new season with change scattered across the landscape. 2024 starts here for the Wyoming Cowboys and the Arizona State Sun Devils. Thanks for tuning in. With Petros Papadakis, I'm Chris Myers, excited to bring you this in a new season that's already been talked about quite a bit, right? You got NIL, you got the transfer portal, the expanded college football playoff down the road with 12 teams. What excites you most about kicking it off?
Well, you know, we are scattered like the Tower of Babel, and there's been a lot of talk, and no one knows really what it's going to be like. I'm glad that today, in earnest, we finally dove in, and we are going to go forward figuring out what this is like week in and week out. We're going to figure it out together.
And a lot to figure out for the second-year head coach of Arizona State. He's a local product, and he's a guy, you know, last year, 60 new players. This year has a new quarterback, and optimistic about turning things around. Kenny Dillingham has been fired up throughout spring and is fired up for tonight.
He's a Valley guy. He understands the place. He has a quarterback that they are very confident in, but a young player. Sam Levitt out of Oregon, played at Michigan State last year. He can run. He's a gym rat, loves to study, understands the offense. But with all the transfers and all the uncertainty, what will the Sun Devils offense look like, especially with this guy under center and the creativity of Kenny Dillingham? We're going to have to wait to find out. Can't wait to see it.
It's the first year in the Big 12, expanded Big 12 conference for Sam Levitt and Arizona State. Meanwhile, things staying the same in the Mountain West as a new head coach, even though the Wyoming Cowboys built this defense. He was a defensive coordinator there for the last 4 years. Jay Savell is taking over the head spot for Craig Bohl.
Very disciplined program. They have a great identity. Unlike Arizona State, they know exactly who they are. Savell's going forward with a big, strong, great-looking quarterback who has some experience. Started in Texas last year, was very poised in a tough game Wyoming played down in Austin. Evans Svoboda is huge, 6'5", 250 pounds. He can run. He's got a strong arm. How's that going to be with that Wyoming offense tonight?
And where's number 17 like Josh Allen, the Raw player back in his day? That's where the connection starts. We'll see where it takes us. ASU, Wyoming, straight ahead.
My body got rid of them toxins.
What a night, here I go. Let's light on earth, they're falling like dominoes. This diamond dust is shining up beautiful. So start her up, here I go, here I go.
Tempe, Arizona, and the Sun Devils ready to roll as they play host to the Wyoming Cowboys. So Big 12 against the Mountain West. It was 106 earlier, but currently in the 90s, and it'll get a little cooler during the game, something Wyoming coaching members and the players talked about. 98 degrees at the moment as we're ready to kick off. ASU won the toss and deferred, so Wyoming ready to receive. Parker Lewis will kick off, and to receive, Caleb Merritt back for the Cowboys, and 2024 is happening. Touchback, and here comes the offense and the power arm of Evans Svoboda. Second career start, but his first year as the starter.
He's a local guy, Mesa, Arizona. Knows the area well. They expect him to be poised because, like we said, he played really well and was poised in his first career start against Texas last year when Craig Bohl was the head coach. But this is his first time as the true starter. It is his offense.
Red Mountain High School in the area, about 15-20 miles, depending upon if you're Ubering or walking. DJ Jones starts in the backfield with Harrison Whaley out because of the knee injury. And it is Jones, and Jones shoved back the minute he got to the 25-yard line. This offensive line strong up front because they're healthier than they've been in a long time.
Yeah, they have a lot of guys with a lot of experience. Center, both guards returning, and a lot of experience at tackle. DJ Jones, and a lot of question marks on the perimeter for the Pokes.
Jones transfer from North Carolina. Quick pass, and it's intercepted. The first throw as the starter, and taking it the other way for a touchdown. Viasatu. Cyrus Viasatu takes it back for 6.
A disastrous start for Evan Svoboda. They're trying to get him acclimated to the game slowly with a short pass, and he throws it right between the 3 and the O of Viasatu, a transfer from San Diego State, former hoops player and volleyball guy. Didn't have to get up to get that one. It was right in the chest.
29-yard interception return for a touchdown. And the first throw for Svoboda of 2024. Trying to line up, they weren't quite ready to kick an extra point.
Yeah, that special teams creeps up on you. They need to get that tackle in there. That creeps up on you, especially when you score on defense the first series. What a different start for Arizona State compared to last year.
Ian Hershey will nail the extra point, and that'll get the crowd going early.
Well, Svoboda is just going to drop back in a pretty, not even dropping back, just turning to look to throw to Nick Miles, and did not look enough because Viasatu was right there.
In fairness, John Michael Gillenborg, who was 3rd on the team and catches the tight end, is out with an ankle injury. So the tight end position a little bit different. Nick Miles stepping up in that spot on the throw.
And then doesn't make the tackle. Insult to injury. And that is just a tough way to start. He did not see Cyrus Viasatu kind of hiding behind the offensive line there, and he just darted out to his left and made an easy play to the house.
Producing points, that it was Wyoming that's noted for its defense and its takeaways, at least last year in their 9-win season. But first career interception and touchdown for Cyrus Viasatu, and a 7-0 Sun Devil lead.
And last year, Cyrus led San Diego State with 66 tackles, 5.5 sacks. He was their defensive MVP and makes his presence felt early in the desert.
Forced 5 fumbles for San Diego State last year, so taking things away. Parker Lewis kicking off again, and it'll be a touchback once again. They'll hit rewind, and the Cowboys will try and settle in. Down 7-0.
Well, the Band-Aid's ripped off if you're Evan Svoboda. You've thrown an interception and missed a tackle. Wyoming is a power offense, but they have a new offensive coordinator this year in Jay Johnson, and they want to be a little bit more imaginative, a little bit more creative in the Jay Sawvel era. Not a great start on the road, and that's been a problem for the Pokes as well.
Jones remains the back as he was on their first possession. Jones has it and can't turn the corner. Checking the defense for Arizona State. Jeff Clark, someone who will flash up front, but Kayshawn Elliott, the leader on defense, and he is wearing the green dot, taking in the defensive signals on a 2nd down 10.
One of 2 impactful transfers from New Mexico State.
Throw is completed, good enough for the first down. Devin Body, junior receiver, make that the senior receiver from Memphis, hauls that in from Svoboda.
Body started his career at Vandy, has experience at Wyoming, was there last year, and similar target. Svoboda able to deliver that one cleanly.
Jones on the carry near the 40.
Tackled by Clark.
I know that they ran the ball 61% of the time last year. They wanted to increase the passing attack, and so that means picking up the pace a little bit from what maybe Wyoming fans are used to, as Jones gets a big hole and across midfield to the 45 of ASU. Miles Rouser had to bring him down.
Wyoming doesn't want to just come out and blow your doors off. They want to run the ball and take football out of you, and you're going to see that a little bit more creative on the edge there with the trips in the formation. They've always been very multiple in formations, and Jones knows what to do with it, takes it right upfield to the grass. Pretty good tackle by Simmons, just save a bigger gain.
Picked up 15. They actually spot him at the 46 of ASU. Jones coming to Wyoming after 4 seasons at North Carolina. Created buzz in the preseason after Harrison Whaley got hurt. And got the start and gets the carry again. Here's a flag as he gets inside the 45.
See what the flag is, but a beautiful subtle cut right in front of the linebacker for Jones on Caleb McCullough that sprung him for a couple more yards.
More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, that's part of installing a new offense. Coach Saville knows that. Jay Johnson, the OC who was at Michigan State last year, with Sam Levitt, which is a bit of an irony for this game.
Yeah, the irony that Swoboda's from Mesa, Arizona, and playing for Wyoming. There's a lot of twists and turns, but
we get a lot of that in modern college football, don't we? It's like a soap opera.
Especially with the transfer portal. You got to check that window every moment. As Jones remains the back, Swoboda has settled down after throwing the early pick 6. On 1st and 15, it's back to Jones. Oh, the Sun Devils swarm, and he got nowhere. Shamari Simmons and Keyshawn Elliott were the first 2 to get to him. 2
impactful transfers on Kenny Dillingham and Brian Ward's defense. Shamari Simmons comes out and forces that play back inside. Keyshawn Elliott, the prototype linebacker from New Mexico State, who's been great in the spring and in camp, finishes it up. And that 5-yard penalty really hurts Wyoming and what they're trying to do offensively. They're not big play oriented on the perimeter.
Whistled before the snap and the flag.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's on the center. Tulifono.
The senior, his 38th start, All Mountain West could have been. It was a preseason all-conference.
And we've had a illegal formation and a false start on this drive and an interception for a touchdown. Wyoming's offense making a lot of mistakes, and there's not a lot of plays in the playbook, Chris, for 2nd and 22, especially if you're Wyoming.
Well, we've heard that Swoboda can run the ball himself as well. We're going to get a timeout, and I think that's to discuss what you just mentioned. What kind of play? Don't think they planned on starting out this way, but they have picked it up after the early interception that was returned for 6. It's 7-0 on the defense of Arizona State. 10:59 here in the opening quarter in Tempe. Look back at last season for Wyoming. 7-0 record when they ran the ball for 170 yards or more. They did win that Arizona Bowl against Toledo on a late field goal, and then they promote Jay Saville to head coach after a decade of Craig Bohl as the head coach. Established a tough defensive Wyoming cowboy kind of feel program. His son, by the way, you're talking about Bohl, Aaron Bohl, is the defensive coordinator for Saville. But facing a 2nd and 22 after a timeout. Swoboda with a screen setup. Oh, there's a block, but not a lot of room after that. It'll be 3rd and long. Farrell on the receiving end.
Yeah, Jamari Farrell, slashing bowling ball type of running back, and just a little screen to make it a more manageable 3rd down. Tough offensive series, a couple of them with the pick 6. They had to call a timeout to avoid a delay of game. False start, a lot of trouble. Legal formation, and Wyoming still with a 3rd and 18. Maybe they get out of it. Oh, there's another one.
And looked like Wes King.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And new quarterback, new system, new language for Coach Saville. Has hired Jay Johnson as the new offensive coordinator we've mentioned. So a little bit of confusion getting things started for Wyoming. You think you got a plan, and then things get live, and then it becomes about overcoming adversity. We'll see if Wyoming can do that. Might just want to get 10 yards here and punt it away.
From their own 41-yard line, Jones is the back. Need 23 on 3rd down. Already 1 turnover for this Wyoming offense. Swoboda got a big arm, and he shows it. But another interception. The takeaway this time for Arizona State, and taking it out of bounds is Keyshawn Elliott.
Keyshawn Elliott, the superstar linebacker, the hardworking prototype that they brought in from New Mexico State after a remarkable year in Las Cruces. That one right to him as well, a lot like the first interception. Svoboda and this Wyoming offense struggling mightily in the hot desert night.
We're back, and a second interception by Svoboda. Both linebackers dropping into coverage for the takeaways.
Yeah, and you're going to see he gets pressure here from Watley, and he's going to be looking over here, working progression. Watley's going to get up and make a play on him, and he just throws late over the middle, getting off his first receiver. Getting hit and throwing it late. That ball sails on him, and Elliott comes up with it, and here he is, Sam Levitt.
And he flips it to Cam Scadaboo. Perfect name for a running back, the all-everything back on the Paul Hornung watch list. Over 780 yards and 9 touchdowns last year. But for Sam Levitt, the redshirt freshman from West Linn, Oregon, transfer, as you mentioned, from Michigan State, named the starter on August 19th. On a 1st and 10, back to Scadaboo. Oh, a physical push toward the 21-yard line. Played in 4 games as a true freshman at Michigan State, and Coach Dillingham cited, ironically here, Petros, his lack of turnovers in practice as a key factor in nailing down the starting job.
Yeah, they also brought in Jeff Sims from Nebraska and Georgia Tech, and he had more mistakes in camp, and Levitt kind of ended up taking the job once they went up to Camp T, which is a tradition at Arizona State. They go up into the north of the state and fight it out like Frank Cush, and Levitt came out of that camp as the starter.
2nd down 6. The pass is complete. Jake Smith, who can fly, gets the 1st down.
They've been waiting to see Jake Smith on the field for a long time. One of those transfers from Texas to USC. There's another one on defense for Arizona State. But you see this quick hitting nature of the offense that Marcus Arroyo is calling right now. They're getting the ball out of Levitt's hand, mostly to Scadaboo, and he's finishing things physically. And Jake Smith just finished that run physically. 1st down to the fork.
And Smith hadn't played in a game in 1,000 days, working his way back from injury. And Dillingham was excited to get him the ball early. As Scadaboo takes the pitch and met hard as he got around the 11-yard line. Connor Shea for Wyoming, making his first start. He slides to the at will linebacker here, makes the play.
2nd time out of just a few plays. Scadaboo gets the ball, and the 1st time he carries it, takes it right to the chest of Suianoa, the best linebacker for Wyoming, and gets an extra 3 yards. That time he does the same thing to Connor Shea. He's physically showing up tonight.
From the 10-yard line on 2nd down 7.
Let's keep the lights up.
2nd interception sets up the offense, and there's Jake Smith, who's hit hard but keeps going. It was Suianoa who got to him. 93 tackles, led the team last year, and he put on a tough hit there on Smith.
Shea Suianoa is kind of the next generation of great Wyoming linebackers. Chad Muma, Easton Gibbs, NFL type of guys. Suianoa came up with them and is next, and that time you see how impactful he can be on a tackle. Smith keeps going, though, but he gets wrapped around the legs and creates a 3rd down situation for Wyoming.
Scadaboo remains the back here on 3rd and 4. Jordan Tyson to the top of your screen. High snap handled, and a sack as soon as Levitt got to the ball. Trice Westland got to him. A walk-on with a big defensive play for Wyoming.
Westland came flying in there and made that play because Levitt took his eyes off his progression. He had to look up and then get back to the play on time, and the ball just not able to get out in time before Westland was able to finish that drive with this field goal attempt.
Ian Hershey will try the field goal to add to the lead, and the kick is good. 2 takeaways, 2 scores. They have to settle for 3, but home team with a 10-0 advantage in the opening quarter. pacing from Jay Savell, his head coaching debut, such a part of the Wyoming Cowboy program. Frustrating and missing on offense. Their top runner and one of their top receivers. They got one of the guys with the best hands on the team, and John Michael Gillenberg with that ankle injury.
Yeah, and they thought they were going to have the tight end. They were very excited about him in this one. Harrison Whaley, a little bit of a knee procedure, is only going to be out the early part of the season, but those are their two best offensive players. They expected Evans Svoboda to come in and pick up some of the slack. That has not happened, with 2 picks to 2 linebackers, right on the numbers for both guys.
Parker Lewis to kick off to the speedy Tyler King from Houston, and a Texas Tech transfer. Caught the attention of the head coach in spring practice. And speaking of Texas Tech, remember Wyoming last year, the opener, Petros, they were down 17-0, came back and were able to win that game at home.
Yeah, that was a huge statement. And then they went down to Texas and played them tough. They really did find a way to win that game and come through. And it's set up for a great, especially start of the season for Craig Bohl. Turned out to be his last year. They certainly know how to recover, and they can take the air out of the ball and start running it. But you see Coach Savell right there, wondering where the offense is going to come from without those 2 guys. And we have a flag down as well.
Checking that on the kickoff or thereafter.
Yeah, we wonder what they're looking at.
Personal foul. Illegal blindside block. Receiving team. Foul occurred during the free kick. Be a re-kick from the 50-yard line.
So you used to be able to do this in football, and it was cool to trap a guy and blindside a guy on the kickoff team that's running down free and acting like he's running the 100 in the Olympics, and you just knock him out and his legs go over his head. You can't do that anymore. It's against the rules. So if you blindside block somebody on a kick, it's going to get a foul. But in my day, we used to celebrate that kind of thing.
You played a lot of special teams, but boy, for Wyoming,
I was a bit of a special team zealot in my day. Yes.
And this for the Cowboys. You talk about an avalanche of miscues. It feels more than a 10-0 deficit, but they're going to be backed up even further depending upon how Arizona State wants to play this kickoff here.
2 penalties, procedural penalties offensively. They had to call a timeout to avoid a delay of game, and the 2 picks, a myriad mistakes to start the game for the Cowboys. And Coach Dillingham, he'll take what they've gotten so far, this good start, and the offense looked pretty good under Levitt. They looked comfortable and moved the ball pretty well.
4 penalties for 30 yards already.
Different style kick now
for Wyoming.
And different kicker.
They try to pin them. And it's Hershey who kicked the extra point and field goal. They'll start inside the 25. So there wasn't that big a difference between kicking it through the end zone.
Oh, interesting sequence there.
So Wyoming felt good about DJ Jones, the grad student from Fayetteville, North Carolina, even though they knew that they were going to have to make adjustments without Whaley. And he's carried the ball quite a bit early. They just haven't been able to get the passing game going. And traditionally, they've been a run-first team. And strong defense. Jones hit right away, and now that's how ASU is going to play it.
Clayton Smith, the defensive end, right there making the play there without Prince Dorba. Arizona State, their best pass rusher, out only a couple weeks to start the season.
And it looks like we have a player down. Clayton Smith, by the way, probably the best defensive lineman up front. So Nathan Geiger, who won the starting left tackle job over Jake Davies, is being helped.
Yeah, Geiger was the young and promising guy that was the new piece on this offensive line.
Now Jack Walsh, preseason All Mountain West honors. Caden Barnett coming off an injured shoulder. But
even with Geiger out right now, Chris, you have to imagine that Coach Savell is going to want to lean on this experience with the quarterback struggling like he has and try to get some time off the clock and get some push up front. Positive things happening for the Wyoming offense.
expect that Jake Davies, the freshman, will come in to take that left tackle spot on a 2nd and 10. Swoboda will keep. He does run well. And he gets up to the 30-yard line before Miles Rouser brings him down.
That's a big hit by Miles Rouser. That's that other New Mexico State transfer along with Keyshawn Elliott, who already has the pick. They call him Ghost. Ghost Rouser reminds me of another frightening Arizona State safety named Fright Night Friedman, or the number 13 back in my day. A big hit on a big quarterback there to finish that play.
Fright Night.
Fright Night Friedman.
It's a heck of a movie. In trouble, Swoboda gets rid of it. It'll be 4th down as he was knocked down.
Well, they were hoping maybe that hit would kind of rattle Swoboda and get him going in this game, but another errant throw, at least not to a linebacker this time on the 3rd series for Wyoming, but they are going to have to punt it away, and that is not what Jay Savell had in mind.
Clayton Smith and Justin Watley were the ones who put the heat on Swoboda, but throwing it away. So Jack Culbreth will come on from his own 15, handles the high snap to kick it away for ASU. Fair catch called for inside the 30. Melquan Stovall sets up the Arizona State offense, but tough defense from the Sun Devils. Another big hit protecting a 10-0 first quarter lead. ASU off to a great start this year. How about last year? They had to have 5 different starting quarterbacks throughout. That was the most in the FBS. They finished with a 3-9 record, and now 60 new players on the team. That's the 2nd most among Power 5 schools. Colorado has 55, and as you pointed out last year, they didn't know who was coming or going or who was going to be back there, and their head coach had to bring in different people, call plays, had to take over as offensive coordinator, and said that one play couldn't change the atmosphere, but he's happy with his quarterback, Sam Levitt, this year, who's got plenty of time to air it out, and off the hands around the 35-yard line of Melquan Stovall.
Stovall's a deep threat guy that came from the Jay Norvell tree of Nevada and Colorado State. That ball hung a little bit for Levitt, allowing Wyoming defenders to catch up there.
Yeah, that was
Rook Brown. Yeah, the great nickel was able to close there. Levitt with plenty of time to release that ball.
I know you love the safeties of this Wyoming team.
They got 3 that have played a lot. Wyatt Eckler, Isaac White, the tackler, and Rook Brown, the nickel.
Scatteraboo, top of your screen as a receiver. Levitt looks around and will keep it himself, dancing across the 35-yard line. They're going to be short of the 1st down.
We talked about his athleticism, and he had some very impressive runs at the high school level and even at Michigan State last year. And he's going to be able to take off right away and not wait. And he leaves Suianoa in his dust and almost converts the 1st down.
Yeah, his father, Jarrett, played football at BYU. His brother, Dolan, has played in the NFL. Went out to BYU and Utah State.
All these new situations, 3rd and short and a new offense with a new language, all learning experiences here to start the season for this young man.
He's got Scatteraboo. He throws and completes. Good enough for the 1st down. Jordan Tyson had to come back for the football, but then worked it upfield.
Jordan Tyson is their home run hitter on the edge. He was hurt last year. Very competitive guy. He came from Colorado and was great there under Carl Durrell and Coach Sanford. Dion came and he left, got hurt, missed last year. They're excited to see him on the field this year. He is their best perimeter threat.
Kenny Dillingham telling us that he has the best hands on the team. He's also one of the fastest players on this ASU squad. From the 40, Levitt gets out of trouble, shows some quicks. Up across the 46, 47-yard line. Made something out of nothing.
And his ability to do that and just be able to tuck it, and the offensive line's ability to protect a little bit, Scadaboo with a good pickup there, is a huge step in the right direction for the Sun Devils offense, especially if you watched them last year, unable to stretch the field, unable to create space for anybody.
And protecting the football. Second down, 3. He picked up 7 on that scramble. Scadaboo will get the first down, and stumbling his way for more. There's a flag down as he got inside the 45 of Wyoming.
He made 4 guys miss.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 54 of the defense. 15 yards tacked on to the end of the run. Results in a first down.
Sebastian Harsh called for that.
Yeah, a little bit of a clothesline there on Levitt. And the mistakes early in this game, the more undisciplined team has been Wyoming. And they're the much more experienced and veteran-laden team. The team with 60 new transfers. Coach Dillingham's team seems a lot more poised.
Wyoming with 16 players returning on defense, but a fresh set of downs as Kyson Brown has come in, and he gets the football and brought down right away.
Westland again in the backfield.
Trice Westland, the junior, a walk-on, as we mentioned, had a big play. He's actually roommates with Sebastian Harsh. They work together.
He beat the block there by Mateer, the new transfer tight end, and that's his second TFL of this game.
29-yard line of Wyoming on a second down 10 after no gain. Levitt fires, catch made right away, but tackle. That's the tight end, Shimon Mateer. Tyrekus Davis tackled him right away.
Now, last year they had Jalen Conyers, a very versatile tight end that even played under center a little bit for Arizona State. This year, Conyers moves on to Texas Tech. Mateer, who can block really well as well and has good hands, comes from Cincinnati.
From North Miami High School. Third down 3.
That's not your alma mater, is it, Chris?
No, but in the neighborhood.
The rival?
I went to Chaminade.
Madonna?
Yes, back in the day, but before they were Chaminade Madonna. Preppice the pitch to Scadaboo. And he will move them a little bit closer.
Yeah, I know they want to involve Jordan Tyson and Stovall and Mateer, but they got to get the ball to Scadaboo as much as possible. As you see Devon Harris down, defensive end for Wyoming. They're taking a beating here, and Scadaboo is delivering the blows.
And they did bring up the heat. They said, you know, you try to prepare, but it's a little bit different. You're playing your opener in an area where it's 90+ degrees, even in the evening. And they're helping Harris up. Could be some cramping, but
veteran-laden defense for Wyoming, probably going to have to play a few more guys than they're normally used to, just because of the first game.
Yeah, because usually, as you point out, they have guys that don't leave the field on defense.
Well, they were pretty excited. It was 86 the other day in Laramie. They're like, we're getting some good work. But it's not as dry.
It's a dry heat.
That's what they say.
So is the inside of an oven. 55 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, and it's been a dominant quarter for the Sun Devils, who have had 2 interceptions and a chance to get more on a first down and 10 to go just beyond the 15-yard line of Wyoming. Scadaboo. Oh, he picks up 9 just like that. He was the leading rusher from a year ago for this team. Also had 24 catches and sets him up on a 2nd and 1, chewing up the clock. The Sun Devil defense set the tone, and they're ready to snap before the quarter ends. To Carlos Brooks is into the end zone, and touchdown Sun Devils.
on the last play of the quarter.
It was as if they were going to let the clock run out in the opening quarter. Brooks checks in and then checks into the end zone.
Well, they liked to Carlos Brooks. He got hurt last year, transferred from Cal, where he played a couple seasons. Very productive, kind of a Lindale White zone runner. I like the way he rolls through. Forgot to put his mouthpiece in, but that doesn't matter. He's slimmer this year with more burst, and that was a really nice mid-zone to the end zone.
Ian Hershey for the extra point. It's the way ASU was hoping to kick things off in 2024. Takeaways, touchdowns, 17-0. Sun Devils after one. A 5-minute drive, 10 plays, 72 yards, and Brooks in for the 8-yard touchdown run. This was a team that last year averaged just under 18 points a game. That was, what, 121st in college football, but the Sun Devils already with 17 as we start the second quarter with Petros Papadakis. Chris Myers, thanks for tuning in here on FS1 from Tempe, Arizona, where it's been a rough start for the Wyoming Cowboys. And the Sun Devils continuing their success, at least so far, when they open the season at home in Tempe. It'll come out to the 25-yard line. Next week, the game of the year on Big Noon Saturday. Quinn Ewers and 4th-ranked Texas clash with 9th-ranked Michigan in the Big House. You can start your Saturday. It's 9 a.m. Eastern with Big Noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor. Then Texas and Michigan at noon on Fox. Texas crushed Colorado State today, 52-0. Michigan 30-10 over Fresno State. They each beat Mountain West opponents, and look forward to that matchup.
Yeah, UNLV took out Houston. Mountain West with a notch of their own. The game right before ours here. And we'll see. Wyoming won 9 games last year. Arizona State lost 9, and I thought they'd be a lot more solid and poised to start this one out.
Svoboda back throwing and incomplete. Doesn't body the target. The coverage was good. And it looked like it was Lawrence Welch on the coverage.
Welch coming up very fast to make that tackle, and kind of a telegraphed flat route. Not very imaginative from Wyoming to start.
From the 25, Svoboda throwing again and completes over the middle. Nick Miles, the tight end, again the senior from Parker, Colorado.
You got to find a way to make Svoboda more comfortable in this game. That's one way to get him started.
Again, John Michael Gillenborg with an ankle injury, getting late word that he is not active. He was 3rd on the team in catches last year, so Isaac Schoenfeld is the backup tight end for Miles on a 3rd down 4.
I know we just had the quarter break, but they've got to find a way to stay on the field in this heat to keep that defense a little fresher.
Svoboda keeps, and all 6'5" and 245 pounds gets the first down.
Yeah, the hole was there for the back, and Svoboda knew it and looked like he was trying to give the ball to DJ Jones. DJ Jones didn't want it, so Svoboda just followed him through the hole, and that works out too. You don't always have to have the give right, but you better follow that guy through the hole.
He's run twice for 12 yards, picked up 7 there. 3 out of 7 with 2 interceptions through the air. But the drive continues with Jones the back.
They needed that.
Jones has a spinning move, picks up a few. Simmons making the tackle for ASU.
A little bit more tempo, which is something we haven't seen from Wyoming.
Svoboda deflected, it looked like, when he was trying to get the ball to DJ Jones.
Elijah O'Neal from Renton, Washington, the senior D end, got a hand on that one, but they're lucky it wasn't picked. It looked like it fell right in front of Shamari Simmons.
That's a big hand.
Yeah.
3rd down 5.
Fell right in front of Rouser.
Svoboda, a threat to run as we saw, might need more of that to get back in this game. The play selection balance there. He dropped it. Tyler King had blockers in front. That looked like a play that was set up to do well.
Yeah, it was a double screen. They had the fire screen going out to the left and then a middle screen coming in, and it was beautifully designed. The best play design we've seen from Jay Johnson. The ball maybe a little bit behind Tyler King, but if he comes up with that, it's first down Wyoming.
So the possessions for Wyoming, this ends in a punt, as did the previous offensive possession. It started with interception. Built the 10-0 lead, then the touchdown drive a moment ago for ASU. There's a whistle here before the punt. Stovall is back there. Check that flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 31 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Another mistake, this time in the special teams. It's mostly been the offense for the Cowboys that has let them down here in the first half. That time special teams setting them up for a 4th and 10 kick.
Stovall from the 22 of ASU. Slips one, slips two. He's up across the 30. Stovall to the 43-yard line, and a flag comes in as he gets dragged down.
They might get a horse collar tackle there, even though one of the arms was in front of Stovall. The other one was in the back and pulled him down that way.
Connor Shea, that's Connor Shea on the 21-yard return of Stovall.
Illegal horse collar tackle, number 33 of the kicking team. 15 yards from the dead ball spot, first down.
2 plays, 2
Immediate
special
timeout.
teams penalties.
40-yard punt, 21-yard return. Tack on the penalty, and Arizona State starting out fast, controlling this game with a 17-0 advantage in the second quarter. 34-year-old Kenny Dillingham, a local product himself in his second year, and he said that, you don't have something like this define you, but let's not kid anybody that when you see preseason polls and they rank you where they do, and in the conference of the new Big 12, 16th out of 16 teams, you use it, sometimes external motivation, you throw it up there and show the kids and hope they respond and play with a little chip. Well, they've started out with that way, at least in this game. Incomplete and a flag down as Levitt was hit as he threw.
Certainly something you can say if you see a guy slacking off. Looks like Levitt took a bit of a shot here from Connor Shea, who just got that horse collar penalty.
Flag was picked up. There was no penalty. Second down 10. The numbers on Levitt, 4 out of 6. He's also run 3 times.
He's done a good job.
Scattaboo, the back. Doesn't get much there.
Still fighting for it.
I know. Kept the crowd rolling.
He plays with so much passion and so much fury. And you can play football like that. You have to at a very high emotional level. Maybe not quarterback, but running back, yeah.
Yeah, he forced 57 missed tackles on rushing plays last year. That was 3rd among running backs. And that's impressive in his first season at Arizona State after a couple at Sacramento State. And he's been a model player for Coach Dillingham, who's played special teams as well. Last year had to play a number of positions. Quick pass, caught by Stovall, and he's off to the races. Brought down at the 10-yard line. Parks may have saved a touchdown. Melquan Stovall with the catch and carry, picks up 28.
Yeah, an early missed tackle right there that really sprung him.
That was Davis.
Yeah, that missed the tackle.
Scattaboo inside the 10.
Davis comes up that time and makes the tackle very well. Now it's the best one-on-one tackle we've seen yet tonight against Scattaboo, and he gets up a little gingerly.
The senior, strong legs, but ooh, that.
Yeah, he gets that one leg to hit against the other, and kind of give yourself a Charlie horse in the calf when that happens.
Didn't get any offers from schools when he came out of high school. So DeCarlos Brooks comes in at running back. He scored the 8-yard touchdown run to make it 17-0. And keeping is Levitt, and he's hit out of bounds around the 5-yard line.
He got to that edge pretty quick, didn't he? Levitt's got some burst and some speed. That's impressive. He beat Cole DeMarzo, the linebacker, there to the edge and gets a couple yards. Ball's in the wrong arm, but
kicking, picky. But Scatteraboo,
I mean, he's still just a young guy.
Scatteraboo comes back in on a 3rd down 4.
Wyoming was able to get out of one of these situations and force a field goal earlier in the game in the first quarter. That's maybe the best they can ask for here.
Scatteraboo hit and stopped short of the first down. Boy, he is tough. He would not go down easily, but it took a few of the Cowboy defenders to corral him.
Yeah, sometimes as an old running back, they tell you to get down before the wave's coming. Scatteraboo doesn't know that. He uses the hand tap drill. He's got 3 limbs down, almost doing the splits after Davis came and took out his legs early. 2 big plays Davis has made in the last 2 plays after missing that tackle, and they're going for it.
They need 2 for a first down, 3+ for a touchdown on 4th down. And a timeout.
Second charge. Timeout of the half. Wyoming. 30-second timeout.
The Cowboys want to discuss how to play this. It could be a turning point for Wyoming if they could stop the Sun Devils from getting anything. Do you like the idea going for it? Maybe it's Dillingham showing his guys, hey, you know, I believe in you. Let's kind of
pick last in the Big 12.
Knockout punch.
I think it gives too much of an opportunity to give Wyoming more momentum. If they get a stop here, they feel great. If they keep them to a field goal, you still got to kick it off, and there's a media timeout and all that. I think it's a calculated risk by Coach Dillingham in a game that they're already controlling against a team that hasn't shown much offensive punch yet. So I understand what he's doing. At the same time, field goal's not that bad against a team that has a hard time scoring a lot of points, and that's what Wyoming is.
All momentum has been in favor of Dillingham at ASU. Scatteraboo and Brooks. And on 4th down, Scatteraboo's in for the ASU touchdown.
Well, a little bit of the flavor of last season. The wild scat.
Yes, took it back to when they had 5 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, Cam Scatteraboo back to taking snaps. And after getting his leg a little bit beat up earlier in the drive, he finishes with a 4th down drive, and that's got to be really disheartening for Wyoming.
Scatteraboo and Dillingham has showed video of him to the team on special teams to show his heart and hustle. He showed a lot on that drive to make it 24-0 Arizona State. Evan Svoboda, junior from Mesa, Arizona, at Red Mountain High School, getting the chance to start after backing up Andrew Peasley last year in the area. He spent his freshman year at Snow Community College in Utah, but at Red Mountain he was a Scholar Athlete of the Year as a senior. Played some basketball. It was all-region in track and field. Championship in javelin, triple jump, set a school record for the javelin, but a rough start. A homecoming here as a member of the Wyoming Cowboys, suffering a couple of interceptions. And when you go back through this for Evan Svoboda, throws off the mark, and ASU made him pay.
Yeah, a couple of linebackers with picks right off the bat to start the game. First 2 possessions, a pick 6 to Sayu, and then Keyshawn Elliott, the transfer from New Mexico State, comes up with one. And ever since then, you've seen a couple of punts and not a lot going offensively. He's completed a couple short balls, and DJ Jones has fallen forward a couple times, but other than that, not much offense to speak of for Wyoming.
And again, without their top tight end, top running back, that's Jones, who's had to step in, hadn't had a lot of running room. But for Arizona State, they were minus 11 in the turnover margin last year, and they're up 2 in that department to start this season. And the other way for Wyoming. Wyoming was plus 11, one of the top takeaway teams in the country, as you're watching a Mountain West Big 12 clash here in Tempe.
And Chris, with those picks and the way the game has gone, Wyoming hasn't been able to exploit their offensive line experience and get their run game going. They haven't been out there enough.
This time it's Devin Body from his receiver spot.
They really have a lot of questions out on the perimeter as far as who's going to step up and make plays.
Tyler King provides some speed.
Yeah, a little bit of trouble with the mesh too there between Svoboda and Body. It could have been disastrous.
3rd down and 6 from their own 29-yard line. ASU's defense has been outstanding. Just the 4-man rush, but they get to him and they get the sack. Elijah O'Neal, the senior from Renton, Washington.
Yeah, he's one-on-one with the back, DJ here, DJ Jones, and DJ Jones supposed to be their best pass protector, but that is a very, very tall order, a 6'3", 250-pound end against your running back, and he just can't block that big end. He gets right to the body of Svoboda and ends another Wyoming drive in disappointment.
They've had some penalties, some turnovers, and a tough Arizona State defense. Culbreth to Melquan Stovall, who had a 21-yard return a moment ago. Fair catch at the 41-yard line of Arizona State. History in the making. Tom Brady makes his long-awaited debut in the Fox broadcast booth. Kevin Burkhardt and Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi for a can't-miss season opener as Dak Prescott and the Cowboys take on Deshaun Watson and the Browns. That's next Sunday at 4 Eastern. The NFL kicking off its season on Fox. And what do you tell a young quarterback who gets a chance his first season as a starter, take over a program on the road, a program that won 9 games last year in a whole 24-0?
Well, if football was easy, everybody would do it, right? There's a lot that goes into it, and one of the biggest things about it is overcoming adversity. He's going to have to do that.
After a 37-yard punt without a return, Kyson Brown has come in and takes that pass from Levitt and moves it upfield and picks up 5.
They're so deep in the running back room for the Sun Devils. Scatterbo, Brooks, McCaskill, and Kyson Brown. They were worried. He was so liked on the team, but they were worried that he was going to be the odd man out. But among the running backs, he had the best camp of anybody at Arizona State, and he's earned some playing time here.
Give Scatterbo a break after he scored that touchdown a moment ago. 41 yards rushing, 4.5-yard average for Scatterbo as Brown remains in. Fake to him, Levitt fires, and a diving catch. And Jordan Tyson hangs on.
They want to get him more involved, like you said, Chris. But everything for Levitt has been play action when they go over the middle. He's got some play action. If he does a straight drop back, they get the ball out of his hands early. Marcus Arroyo doing a great job keeping his young quarterback comfortable here.
Pick up a 14 at the 40-yard line of Wyoming. It's Brown. Inside the 25, some tough yards. Boy, you know, Levitt, too, just looks, I know it's gone ASU's way, but he looks comfortable, whether it's throwing, running, or handing off.
Yeah, especially early in the season. What are you trying to do? You're trying to create confidence. Well, a nice hole, great blocking up front by the Sun Devils offensive line, which has been re-put together, and Kyson Brown not as stiff as last year with some moves.
Levitt on the move and delivers the throw to Xavier Gilroy.
Productive guy last year. They have some receivers back in O'Meary, Xavier, Stovall.
And the emerging Tyson. Gilroy, his second season at Arizona State. Tyson Brown putting some moves on before he's thrown down around the 8-yard line by Wyatt Eckler. Wyatt Eckler, the brother of Austin Eckler, the NFL running back, a former Chargers, now with Washington. That's the Commanders in the NFL.
Well, there's Wyatt right there, a great running back in the state of Colorado in high school, just like his brother, but went the defensive route, went to the dark side, playing defense.
The tough side, the tougher side.
No doubt about that. Although I wouldn't tell Cam Scattaboo that.
Yeah, he checks back in. He runs tough. On that 4th and goal, he pushed it in, and this time they're going to hand it off to the receiver, Tyson, and he's met hard. That's the Wyoming defense we've come to know. Isaac White putting the stop.
White's their best tackling safety. We just saw Wyatt Eckler with a pretty good tackle. Isaac White out of Pennsylvania. He's been starting at Wyoming since 2021. Went to high school in Denver. Really good tackler, solid tackle there on the perimeter. Creating another 3rd down situation for Wyoming to try to keep it closer here.
Levitt's throw off the fingertips of Tyson, and it'll be 4th and 5.
It might have been tipped right before it got to Tyson, changing the trajectory. Let's look. Oh, no, it got through.
Maybe enough of a distraction.
Yeah, Westland waved those arms like he was selling used cars right in front of Tyson's face, and that was enough to force a kick.
Those expanded floating arms, rather.
Yeah, that's how you sell cars.
And it is windy, a little bit windy in Tempe. And Ian Hershey with the extra point. And the Sun Devils keep it rolling. 27-0. On offense, unstoppable, and the defense shutting out the Cowboys. Good crowd at Mountain America Stadium in Tempe.
Really
despite
good.
90-degree temperatures. They've been enjoying it from the very first series when their defense, with a pick 6, gave them the lead. They have not punted in this game. ASU has not needed to against the Wyoming Cowboys.
That's a shock coming into this game because Arizona State came in without much of an identity offensively, and we're watching it develop before our eyes.
And if you think you knew, as Parker Lewis kicks off here to Tyler King, and we'll see if he has a chance to return, and he does from the 3. King spins out of a tough hit, stops short of the 25. You knew the Wyoming identity, and it's tough defense. Although they're getting some of their own taste of their own medicine from ASU.
Yeah, watch Warren come flying in there. He puts a big hit there on King. Celebrates a little bit. They're feeling it in the Valley of the Sun, and why not? It was a rough year last year. Come out here against a very solid program with a great identity. Big promising quarterback, and they've had nothing but success.
Jay Savell, who's been a part of the program built by Craig Bohl over the previous 10 years, who stepped away after last year. First time as a head coach. His debut off the rails at the moment, and another big defensive play for Arizona State. Clayton Smith, the charge to sack Evan Svoboda.
Clayton Smith, a pass rush specialist last year, and Svoboda, I don't know if he's not seeing it or if there's nothing there, but right now the ball's just not coming out of his hands with any kind of confidence. He's not able to step into his throws. Tries to escape the pocket there, but obviously nowhere to go.
Second sack for the Sun Devils. Jones, mouthpiece flying, and he's cut down across the 15-yard line by Keith Abney.
And it's interesting, you know, very few offenses can really overcome 2nd and 22, 12-yard losses on first down. But this Wyoming offense, with what they've shown so far in the first half, it almost seems impossible with the way they've played.
And you thought that the offensive line would be a little bit more of an advantage. This is a team that, again, ran it more than 60% of the time last year.
8.5-yard average on third down tonight. That's very difficult for any play caller.
They need 18. Svoboda back throws, and the catch is made, and that should be enough for the first down. It's going to be a little bit short. Fourth down. It is short, and they may have to go for it here to kind of keep this close.
Great blitz pickup by DJ Jones. I mean, he came flying in there and was able to create that throw for Svoboda. Maybe the most confident throw we've seen from Svoboda all night, but short there of the stick.
And they're not. There's Chris Durr, by the way. And looks like they're not going to go for it on 4th and 8, I guess, from where they are.
No, it's just been that kind of night for Wyoming. That was a good throw and a nice looking play, but after first down, not going to be enough.
It's 27-0. We have a timeout, Arizona State. Don't forget, big news Saturday, Texas, Michigan. College football on Fox, and you're watching from Tempe, Arizona, the Sun Devils, who have won 21 straight home openers at season home openers.
Last year they had to do it in the middle of a dust storm.
So they need 8 for the first down.
All smiles over there on the Sun Devils sideline, Chris.
Yeah, and they are. Arizona State edges out Arizona as the most western team in the new Big 12, the expanded Big 12.
Who's the most eastern?
That would be West Virginia, who
Wow.
took it on the chin against Penn State.
Great geography there.
I majored. No, this is Stovall to the 25. I mean, why wouldn't you go there at 27-0? I mean, your quarterback, well, I guess you don't want him getting beat up. And they don't have a lot of options right behind Evans Svoboda. If Wyoming decides to make some kind of a move, senior Jaden Clemens, I guess, is back there, and freshman Caden Anderson. But for ASU, I mentioned they haven't had to punt at all. The defense got them going, and the offense is taking it from there.
And Levitt's been very comfortable, as you mentioned, Chris. He's looked every bit of a veteran and not a freshman. And first time they scored on the first 4 possessions since 2018 versus the Beavs.
And this was a team that struggled offensively, as you've pointed out, because they had to play so many different people at quarterback through last year. DeCarlos Brooks slips through and near a first down.
This is a new little wrinkle in the Marcus Arroyo offense as opposed to what Kenny Dillingham was doing. He's more of a gap running type of guy. This is more of a zone running offense where Brooks can be really patient. You see him and Scadaboo kind of throttling down before they hit the line of scrimmage, and then they hit it at full speed and they have success.
Quick pass, the catch, oh, good block to set up Jake Smith across midfield.
They love Jake Smith, and they say he plays really fast on the field, and that certainly looked just like that. Former Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year out of Scottsdale.
5-year super senior. Transfer from Notre Dame, USC, and then Texas. We have hit the 2-minute timeout, which they have added to college football before the half and the fourth quarter. That's a 2-minute timeout on a hot night. Nobody's hotter than the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, number 1 Georgia makes a huge statement against Clemson, while Penn State battled the elements and West Virginia and Morgantown. And Texas with a tune-up against Colorado State ahead of their showdown next Saturday at Michigan. Chris and Petros, see you back at the half.
All right, thank you, Mike. Look forward to that. College football in high gear, and so are the Sun Devils behind Kenny Dillingham. A young, not the youngest head coach in college football anymore at 34, but among the youngest, and his team responding in his second season. Right on target to Jake Smith again. Story has to be, aside from ASU's additions, is the Sam Leavitt comfort against what was an expected or respected defense of Wyoming coming in.
Look how comfortable he is, and they've had such success with the run game, getting a good push with their own line, that he's able to sit back there and deliver the ball over the middle on time to Jake Smith again, who's putting together a pretty good first half.
21-yard pickup to Carlos Brooks. gets the carry, and a big hole for Brooks. He's got a first down around the 11-yard line.
Brooks is a good-looking back. He's listed at 5'11", 210, but he looks like he runs a lot bigger than that. And watch, when he squares his shoulder pads, he's really able to exploit great blocking and help out his offensive line. That's Max Ihanachor, who was forced in to duty last year in the second game, coming through great with a lead block there, playing tackle.
You mentioned him returning to Arizona after 4 seasons at Cal. Gets the football again and is dragged down around the 6-yard line. He had that huge 2018 senior season at Chandler High School when Brooks was named Arizona's Offensive Player of the Year. First team All-State, ran for 2,200 plus yards and 34 touchdowns.
And one of the things Kenny Dillingham has to do, as he's known as a great recruiter, is keep the talent here in Arizona from leaving for bigger schools. But one thing he can do is pick those guys up after they leave a bigger school and come back. And not necessarily a bigger school for Cal with Brooks, but that's certainly the case here, bringing hometown talent back home.
And being a guy, as Dillingham is the first Arizona native of the 26 Arizona State head coaches. In fact, you know, that local connection, he's got, you've mentioned too, the kind of staff he has that take advantage of all the great athletes that come from in and around Arizona, and if they leave, bring them back home. Brooks was coached at Chandler by Sean Iguano.
Yeah, he's got a lot of high school coaches. Regal, his own high school coach, on this staff. A lot of local roots, and it's really part of his grand plan. Way up in the blimp, wide view of reactivating the Valley and getting Sun Devil football going again. And if tonight is any indication, they're doing the right things.
Cam Scattaboo has come back in on a 2nd down 5, threatening to score once again. Did they get the timeout before? Let's check.
Delay a game.
They did not.
Offense, number 10, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, it's not all perfect for ASU. You use a timeout and then you get a delay a game.
That's really one of their first mistakes. You know, we saw Wyoming make 5 mistakes like that in the first 3 series. Sam Levitt, as a young guy, has been doing great, and Kenny Dillingham and his coordinator Marcus Arroyo have put him in a great position to succeed so far.
They've run for 116 yards. Levitt is in trouble here and cannot escape from Braden Siders. That combo of Siders and Harsh. Wyoming hoping they could dominate, but that's a sack for Siders.
And we saw another one of their DNs, Devon Harris, go down a little bit earlier. Siders doing a great job of getting to the hips of Levitt, not letting him go, creating a much better 3rd down situation.
Scattaboo can't haul that in, and it's 4th down. 18 seconds remaining before halftime. Yeah, the combo of Harris, Harsh, and Siders, they're a combined 111 tackles through their career, with 18 of those tackles for loss and 11 sacks for the Wyoming defense, which started out in a hole after the pick 6 got ASU up 7-0 in a hurry. This is Hershey from 38 yards away to make it 30-0. And this one is just off the mark. Not right against that upright on the right.
So something positive for Jay Savell to take into the locker room here in Tempe. Hold looks okay. I'm not a golfer, Chris. Is that if we push it? Did he push it or hook it?
No, I think that's more of a push.
He
right?
pushed.
Kind of a fade to the right. If you hook it, it's left. And I can relate to both of those. Rarely do they go down the middle of the fairway where you should hit. But Hershey has had a good night otherwise. That was maybe just, what, from 38? So
you know who can golf is that Joel Klatt. That's the word on the street. Yeah.
He does everything right. Played baseball and college football, and he's a terrific broadcaster.
I heard he made his flight, too. After that big, long delay in West Virginia. Can you believe that?
They had lightning delay.
That's a resourceful man.
Guys in the studio had to cover quite a bit and taking you around college football until they were able to resume the Penn State victory over West Virginia. So they're coming up on the State Farm halftime report. But what a start for the Arizona State Sun Devils. The defense got it going. The offense has kept it going. It's 27-0 at the half over Wyoming.
Welcome to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome inside our Los Angeles studios. Mike Hill along with Emmanuel Acho and Chris Peterson. We'll get you back out for the second half between Wyoming and Arizona State very shortly. But first, we got to get you caught up on other action from around the country with our State Farm halftime highlights, starting with the #1 team in the land, Georgia, proving it today against Clemson in Atlanta. Carson Beck showing you why he's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
No doubt about it. Had a strong performance, particularly in the second half. 278 yards, 2 touchdowns. Clemson just could not hang on.
They're up 13-0. Cade Klubnik hits Jake Brenningstool right here. Look at this catch.
Beautiful. They just need more explosive plays. They need more big-time playmakers like Jake here.
No, that's all they had today. They trailed 13-3 because Georgia, they were only up 6-3 at the half. They outscored them 28-3 in the second half. Beck finding London Humphreys right here, breaking away for 40-yard touchdown. Georgia rolls. They're up 27-3.
Who needs Lad McConkey?
Well, they would love to have him.
Well, they got Humphreys now.
Brock Bowers, you still like to have those guys. Klubnik, they still got Malachi
That might have been
Starks.
the best catch of the day, and that's by a DB.
Right. You're right.
That's why he's an All-American safety right there. First team, baby. Georgia taking over on down, still 27-3. And then in the fourth quarter, let's go ahead and cash it in, baby. Cash Jones. Get off me.
Cash.
Go on, Cash.
Bulldogs roll 34-3.
My money.
Dabo Swinney after the game. Please stop doing that. Give me my money.
Tough, hard-fought first half, and then they just freaking kicked our tails in the second half. So congrats to them. They're a great team. They've been a great team. They showed in the third and fourth quarter. But this is when you play a team like Georgia, you get exposed.
All right, #4 Texas taking on Colorado State.
You already know what it is. Quinn Ewers starting off strong on today. He had 2 touchdown passes, but right there connects with Bond. Isaiah Bond for 7.
Alabama transfer. It's so good that, look, Arch Manning got into the game.
Coach Arch finally got a little action in there.
And crafty action.
Texas 52-0 ahead of their matchup versus Michigan next week.
And Ewers and the boys look good. Accurate. #2 Ohio State. Will Howard, of course, transferred from Kansas State and at quarterback for Ohio State. They got weapons still, even without Marvin Harrison Jr. They got Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah lived up to billing. He's as good as advertised.
Howard, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ohio State rolls 52-6. This could be Penn State season.
Mike, you said that last year.
I did not say that last year. I said this is going to be Penn State season. Drew Allen throwing the football down the field. Got the new offensive coordinator. Hey, they had the weather delay. Of course, Big Noon kickoff was there. And Rob Stone looking like a rookie.
Rob Stone.
Come on,
Master
man.
Hands.
Come on, bro. And then, look at that lightning right. Look at Coach's mouth. He's like, we got to get up out of here. Penn State rolling Nick Singleton, 40-yard touchdown. Big impressive win in Morgantown, 34-12. James Franklin with our Jenny Taft after the game.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the win, handling the adversity of that delay. I got to ask about your offense. What did you learn about their potential? We saw creativity. We saw those explosive plays. What did you like?
Yeah, we were more explosive in game one, which was great, than really where we were for most of last year. So that was important. Our defense played gutsy all day long. The good thing is I think there's still a ton of stuff that we need to get cleaned up and will get cleaned up. But this is a good step on the road in a very hostile environment.
What specifically do you want to clean up? You mentioned a lot of the good things. What are you looking for right away Monday? What are you working on?
Well, we had to burn some timeouts, which we never do, and we got to get some of those things cleaned up in terms of substitutions and formations and some of those types of things that come up in early games. But overall, pretty darn good to build on.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Drew Aller, 11-17, 216 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, I should say. Andy Kotelnicki's offense looking good for this Penn State team.
That's my MVP today. I loved it. I mean, he threw the ball downfield, made some explosive passes. That was the problem last year at Penn State. Aller had a lot of completions, good touchdowns, but it was just all short stuff. So you saw more explosiveness. Then you got the run game going. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Drew Aller had one 300-yard passing game last year. It was against West Virginia. So let's see what he can do going forward.
I will not applaud a fish for swimming.
What?
I won't applaud a fish for swimming. Drew Aller did what he was supposed to do. Penn State did what they were supposed to do. I would hope that Penn State can handle business in a game like this. What we know about Penn State is that they dominate opponents not named Ohio State nor Michigan. They don't play Michigan this year. They just have to dominate or at least beat Ohio State. I love what Penn State did, but, Coach, I'm not going to applaud a fish for swimming. Drew Aller, you're a 5-star. You're 6'5", 230. I anticipate that you will dominate.
You didn't say the same thing about yours in Texas, and they did what they were supposed to do.
Exactly. Where's that all about?
That's okay. It's all
Where's
good.
that fish?
It's all good, man.
I'll applaud them next week.
Hey, speaking of next week, are they going to do what they need to do next week?
Big new kickoff. Head to Ann Arbor. Mike, I'm ready for it.
3-hour show right up the kickoff. Number 4, who?
You already know Texas, baby.
9th ranked who? Reigning champion Michigan Wolverines. Coverage begins at 9 a.m. Eastern.
I might not be here, Mike.
On Fox. Texas, Michigan, all time. Tail of the tape. Michigan is just that history of dominance over the years. Most wins all time, winning its program in college football history. Won its 10th national title last year. All that is for naught. Next week, though, we'll see who wins that important matchup.
Yes, sir.
There. Miami and Florida, I think the U is back because they got Cam Ward now, guys.
And this might have been one of the more impressive, surprising things. Everybody's been talking about Cam Ward. He showed up today.
Well said,
Washington
Coach.
State transfer, finding Xavier Restrepo, one of the best in the business there. This is what Cam can do.
And this is the difference. There are about 5 to 10 college quarterbacks who could make that play. That's the difference between winning and losing the big game.
385 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 41-17 win at the Swamp. Chattanooga, number 15, Tennessee, Nico.
That's good-looking football right there. Dante
Malava right there.
Go get that name.
I got
that name.
You see, I paused. Tennessee wins at 69-3. How about Iowa, number 25 in the nation, taking on Illinois State? Seth Wallace filling in for Kirk Ferentz, suspended for a player recruitment violation. How about Iowa's offense? What? I said Iowa's offense.
No doubt about it. Dominant by them. Good for Iowa's offense.
I'm not going to applaud this fish till next week.
There you go,
Iowa
Coach.
State.
There you go, Coach.
Hey, how about this? Rob Carter Jr., one of the best incredible interceptions you'll ever see for Robert Morris.
Oh.
Rob Carter Jr. My goodness. Go get it, my man.
RMU?
My boy. Beautiful right there.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway.
That was quite a takeaway right there.
My other takeaway, who are they playing? Who's Utah State playing?
Did it matter?
People are going to want to know who that safety is.
Robert Morris. He plays for Robert Morris.
Go on, Robert Morris.
Biggest takeaway so far in week 1. College football season?
For me, it is the quarterbacks, plural. Last year's college football playoffs, it had J.J. McCarthy, first-round pick, Michael Penix Jr., first-round pick, Jalen Milroe and Quinn Ewers. Yep. It's all about the quarterback. This year, we've seen Shedeur Sanders play at a high level, 450 passing yards in his first game. But it's not just about the aggregate stats. It's about how he did it. Phenomenal right there. You also saw Cam Ward. Again, he had 3 touchdowns of his own, a strike right there. You saw Carson Beck. He had 278 versus a top 15 Clemson team. And then Quinn Ewers with that no-look pass. So it's about the dominant quarterback play for me, Coach, in the first week.
I love that. And we could talk about 30 other guys that are kind of sitting there. So it is going to be a fun year there. For me, it's Georgia. They are who we thought they are.
Yes, sir.
Dennis Green, back in the day.
Yeah. They are.
We thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Well, Georgia didn't let them off the hook. They did not.
Right, Coach.
I mean, they're just so dominant in all 3 phases. I mean, this defense is just as good as always. Carson Beck doing his thing. I mean, balance. I think they got the best offensive line in the country. Clemson is not a bad football team, and they made them look bad at the end.
43-2 in their last 45 games.
Yeah.
2 losses to Alabama, though. That's all. Now the second half between Wyoming and Arizona State is coming up. Was that true? We let them up. Shout out, man. Rest in peace, Nick.
Getting ready for the start of the third quarter in the desert. You're watching college football on FS1, and the opener for Arizona State over Wyoming at the half, a 27-0 score. Just a recap here, and it started with Svoboda's, the Arizona product, first throw intercepted by Cyrus Faseyu, takes it back 29 yards for a touchdown. And then Keyshawn Elliott, one of the transfers as well, with a pick. DeCarlos Brooks And then Cam Scatteraboo on a 4th and goal. Throw in a couple of field goals, 27-0. 241 yards of offense for Arizona State. Third quarter coming your way live in a moment. College football after dark on FS1 from Tempe, and the lights are on and everybody's home for ASU. What a dominant start to the season. Trying to continue as you look at those first half stats, their string of home season openers. 21 straight, trying to make it 22 in a row, and Wyoming a rough start with Petros Papadakis. I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for hanging with us. Well, look, this has been a downtrodden program the last couple of years, the 3-9 records, and their coach Kenny Dillingham has spoken optimistically about the new 60 players coming in and a quarterback, and they've looked great so far.
Yeah, Charles Dickens-like, right? The best of times for Arizona State, because this is exactly what you wanted to see in year 2 for Kenny Dillingham with this offense and a lot of new identity being formed. The worst of times for Wyoming. Nobody thought that they would be this abysmal offensively to start this game, and I suspect that they're not, that things just got on top of them. But what Arizona State has done has been really, really promising. They've attacked a very solid, perennially solid Wyoming defense in all kinds of different places, found ways to get the young quarterback comfortable, and they haven't made mistakes like the Pokes have.
John Hoyland kicking off, and ASU gets the football to start the third quarter. Remember, this was an offense, and we talked about the number of quarterbacks that they had to play and the injuries last year, the shuffling that went on with this team, but they couldn't average 18 points a game. And I know it's just one opponent in one half, but to put up 27 and to have a quarterback, a transfer from Michigan State in his first start for ASU, look as comfortable. We haven't had to mention him a lot because the defense has done its job and they've run the ball well.
He started with some short throws. He ran the ball a little bit. They used Scatteraboo a lot early. Got the ball out to the perimeter quickly, and it looks like he's right in the zone now for this game, and they can be a little bit more creative with it.
And he's looking to throw on the move. He talked about, or they talked about, a moving pocket for him as something that they like to do a lot of with his ability.
You got a guy that can run, and that really is kind of one of the benchmarks of a Kenny Dillingham offense. A lot of movement, a lot of formations, and multiplicity. That time they just tried to run and have Jordan Tyson run with him, and he missed the throw.
Cam Scatteraboo is in there, the all-everything back from last year, has a touchdown run here. Gets the football and picks up a healthy chunk of 5 yards. Wyatt Eckler brings him down. Back to Sam Leavitt, because he opted for Michigan State, decommitting Washington State. He had good feelings for Dillingham, who tried to recruit him when Dillingham was at Florida State.
Yeah, and that's a lot of this transfer stuff works out with who recruited you, or what was your relationship like with this coach, and where is that guy now? And this is one of those situations, and so far it's working out.
Set to throw. He'll keep it, and he'll get the first down. Sam Leavitt picking up 5. Sebastian Harsh makes the stop for Wyoming.
Yeah, Suianoa flying by him. Harsh ends up making the play, but he just seems to be making decisions on time, but not being in too much of a hurry. And this is a solid Wyoming defense. I always liken their style of defense to Kansas State. They're very disciplined on every level.
And this time, Scatteraboo drags a couple of tacklers with him. Harsh again on the play.
Yeah, once they get him wrapped up, he shuffles those feet. His legs are so strong, he ends up with a couple more yards. This guy's just a war daddy out there.
Averaging more than 4.5 a carry in this game. Has had a 17-yard run, the longest of anybody in the game. You know, back to Leavitt, you know, he was at Oregon. Jonathan Smith left Oregon State to take the Spartans job, while at Oregon State, Smith didn't offer Leavitt a scholarship. Michigan State transfer has delivered again. Right on target to Jordan Tyson. Eventually dragged down.
Tyrekus Davis, who's made a lot of tackles out on the perimeter, gets him down, but Levitt again, just very comfortable in the pocket off the play action and delivering it over the middle beautifully to Jordan Tyson, who people are very happy to see back in a Sun Devil uniform and being productive.
Tyson's third catch of the game. Jake Smith also has 3 to lead ASU in the receiving department. Tyson Brown carries. Sam Levitt has spread the ball around to Stovall, to his backs. Guillory has a catch. His tight end, Mateer, we thought we'd see more of him. He has 1 catch.
Yeah, and I think that's been the key to their attack. You know, attacking in different places, moving the quarterback, and ultimately getting the push and getting the run with Scadaboo has made the difference in this game. And Evan Svoboda just standing there watching on the sideline while Arizona State grinds out another drive.
He was kind of the headliner, kind of the local Arizona kid coming back as Wyoming starting quarterback, and just a rough start. Going deep is Levitt, and an overthrow for Tyson.
I understand why he threw it to that spot. He was trying to get it away from Isaac White, the safety who was closing in, so he couldn't lead him toward the safety, but ends up leading him over his head. Tyson cannot Willie Mays that one.
Levitt showing his arm strength. They've had the ball for nearly 40 minutes compared to just over 12 minutes for Wyoming possessing.
And the Cowboys are the ball control team.
What a flip. He's going to keep it and get another first down. Levitt inside the 25-yard line of the Cowboys.
Ran right by Connor Shea that time. It goes to show you just how nifty this guy is with his feet. Look at him versus number 33, Connor Shea. Good linebacker, broken down. Can't get both hands on Levitt.
Sam Levitt, they list him at 6'2". You think he's a little...
Probably a little shorter than that, but looks good. Tyrekus Davis not only lost a shoe, but he's down.
Corner for Wyoming. We hope he's okay. Good to see Tyrekus Davis able to walk over to the sideline. Petros, let's take a look. The shoe came off, as you mentioned.
Yeah, you can get pinned. Pinned bad in college football, and this is one of those moments where if that shoe doesn't come off, I don't know what happens to Davis's ankle there. That's a very, very fortuitous moment for him to have that shoe come off and be able to make it to the sideline. Well done.
Fresh set of downs for ASU. Ian Bell is in at corner for Wyoming. And Sam Levitt on the move, completes the pass. There's Mateer, the tight end, and into the end zone for an ASU touchdown. Shimon Mateer. The movement of Sam Levitt. And then the flip to his tight end for 6.
Going from bad to worse for Wyoming and getting better and better for Arizona State. You called for him, Mateer. You said he's the only offensive guy they were excited about that hasn't done much tonight. And here you go. They start out the third quarter with a touchdown to him. Levitt making a lot of hay, pushing up in the pocket, whether he scrambles or gets rid of it.
Mateer spent the last 3 seasons at Cincinnati. Found the end zone on that reception, capping off a 75-yard drive. Took nearly 4 minutes, and the Sun Devils are rolling in the desert. So famous Arizona State alums, Al Michaels, the great announcer, the great golfer Phil Mickelson, and the home run king Barry Bonds, and may have another one on his way. Kenny Dillingham graduated from ASU in 2013, interdisciplinary studies and business and communications. He's the first Sun Devils graduate to lead the program in the modern era. And as I mentioned, the first Arizona native of the 26 head coaches in the school's history, and a great start to 2024 for the 34-year-old head coach. Well, it wasn't too long ago. He was in college. Let's see, who do we have?
Scotty Walden, he was jumping around today, showing his youth.
Okay, so he's a little bit younger, I think, than Dillingham. Spencer Danielson with Boise State at age 35 in this expanded Big 12.
He was in a wild one today against Georgia State.
Yeah, Gentry was outstanding. Meanwhile, back at the ranch for the Cowboys. Can anything go right?
Hasn't yet.
Svoboda still in there. Got the start, suffered the 2 early interceptions, and Jones, who once played defensive back at Carolina, moved to running back, carries to the 30-yard line.
And that kind of thing is what Wyoming needed to start the game. Just a bullying kind of 5-yard run that keeps the clock moving, that sets up their play caller to have a little bit more success. But you look at what their offense has done tonight, nothing positive.
I mean, ASU has been outstanding defensively, and not just the takeaways. Cowboys have had trouble running the football. You know, Kenny Dillingham was telling us too, when he was asked this week about what he needs to see in this game after spring and from his ASU team, and he said, I need to see how much our players trust each other in an actual game, and that didn't mean on offense, it meant defense. And so far, even with all the new players he's portaled in here, they are trusting each other to a successful level. On a 3rd and 5, Robinson making the stop, but it's 4th down.
3 straight run plays. You just don't know how much Jay Johnson and Jay Sawvell want to put Evan Svoboda at risk right now with the way they've performed. 4th and 4, and offense comes off the field. They're going to give it right back to Arizona State. And that trust you're talking about, Chris, very difficult to gauge until you get in the game, right? We didn't know what Levitt was going to be like when this game started. Svoboda, and the team that really doesn't know each other is the team that's been showing out.
And the identity early. ASU has found themselves. Stovall fighting hard to break a few tackles with that 34-0 advantage in the football. Well, next week, the game of the year on Big Noon Saturday. Quinn Ewers and 4th-ranked Texas going up against 9th-ranked Michigan in the Big House. Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern. I hope you always start your day with Big Noon kickoff. They'll be live from Ann Arbor. And then the game at noon on Fox. Texas and Michigan both successful, winning today and against teams from the Mountain West Conference.
Michigan a little bit more trouble with Fresno State than they were comfortable with. Texas blew Colorado State away.
And for Arizona State, Carlos Brooks has come in at the running back spot with Levitt. He gets the football, and good run all the way up across the 30-yard line. Arizona State in the Big 12, they won't face their first Big 12 opponent until it's Texas Tech on September 21st. They have Mississippi State and then Texas State. And another injured player.
That's Tice Westland, who's been running around and had some success. A couple of TFLs in the first half. Looks like a cramp, which is understandable under the circumstances.
As we mentioned, over 105 degrees earlier in the day. In the evening, it was about 97, 98 degrees at kickoff. Has cooled by desert standards. And Arizona State, whatever they were picked in the preseason, and that's how that preseason thing works. It's a lot of opinion, conjecture.
Especially in today's day and age.
With the portal.
It's hard to know about anybody.
Looks like they're checking the right lower leg. Meanwhile, in the Mountain West, they won 9 games last year. Boise State, you just talked about Boise, and UNLV with their success today. Wyoming preseason was 6th on that list.
New coach at Boise State, but same identity. Dirk Cutter, offensive coordinator. Ashton Genty, who you mentioned, a great running back, one of the best in the country. The Rebels under Barry Odom, one of the great stories in college football. Fresno State take a loss today, but no Jeff Tedford. Skipper takes over. There's some question marks there. I tell you what Air Force does with no red shirts, no transfers, no NIL, no anything. To win the games they do is always impressive.
And with our expanded, college football playoff, right, with 12 teams, a group of 5, one of the champions will be in that college football playoff. The Mountain West, the MAC, the Sun Belt, Conference USA, American. So there's a chance of just getting into the party as Westland is up and moving toward the sideline.
And just not much to be positive about. You see the look on Coach Sauvel's face, and it just kind of tells the tale of what kind of night it has been. A comedy of errors, penalties, and mistakes on offense, really since the get-go for the Wyoming Cowboys.
They spread him out with Brooks the back. He gets the football, and Levitt fakes, and keeps across midfield.
He's pretty tricky with the ball. That's Steve DeBerg style out there. That's very good play fake. And they've had so much success with that zone that Wyoming has to honor it. Ethan Day gets caught out on no man's land, the sophomore. And Levitt gets outside of him and is able to exploit that perimeter.
Picked up, that was a crisp 21 yards. You see he's run for 47. He's thrown for 179 and throwing again. Floats one and it's caught for a first down. Jordan Tyson on the receiving end. That's his 4th grab of the game.
He missed that throw in the first play of the second half. They run the back out into the flat, and he tries to get it to the receiver, Tyson, behind him. This time, they pull it off. You see he's got Brooks below, and on top, Tyson.
Back to Brooks, who carries. Yeah, Tyson was a transfer from Colorado, and he had a career high against Arizona State in 2022, 115 receiving yards and a touchdown. Now starring for the Sun Devils.
A lot of offensive stars between Brooks and Tyson. Jake Smith has looked good. Scattaboo has been solid, of course. And Sam Levitt has looked about as comfortable as a young quarterback can look in a new offense with new language.
Similar to what they did a moment ago when Levitt kept the football, handles the snap, a quick throw, and incomplete to Stovall.
Great job by Rook Brown, the excellent nickel out of Texas, coming up and making this play. Although that ball was dropped by Stovall.
Well, they told Sam Levitt, once he got the starting job, you're going to lose some downs, but don't force it. It's okay to throw it away. It's okay to take a sack, to play for the next down, but he's played from ahead this entire game, and incomplete on that throw for Tyson once again.
And you can see as a quarterback, and this is a 4th down situation, one of the first Wyoming has forced in this game. But you can see Levitt, if there's one kind of knock on him, it might be accuracy.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of maybe throws it a little bit more to an area. But with his ability to move and his confidence and his running ability as they're going for it here, he's been impressive.
On a 4th and 9 from the 36-yard line of Wyoming. Lining up as if to go. They'll let the clock run out, the play clock, with just under 7 minutes remaining here in the 3rd.
5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
This will be the first punt of the game. And I hope
small victories for the Pokes, right?
Canyon Floyd, who they tell us is a booming kicker. In practice, they said you could hear the sound of him. He's a freshman from Scottsdale, from Horizon, former soccer player. But here it's about dropping it inside the 10. And he went a little too far. The fake on the receiving end and the special teams unit holding up, and it'll be a touchback.
I heard it, though.
You could hear it from here, up in the booth. 34-0 ASU. ASU fans in Tempe enjoying what they have seen. The ball control and domination of their Sun Devils.
Look at that time of possession. And that is, before the game, you would have been blown away seeing that stat, because that's what you know Wyoming is good at. And so much experience on their own line, and just hasn't come together tonight. Arizona State's been stellar in all three phases.
After that 41-yard punt into the end zone, their Cowboys are back on the ground with DJ Jones. Wyoming has gone across the 50-yard line just one time. They got to the ASU 41-yard line on their second possession, but then the interception, the second interception, Keyshawn Elliott grabbed that one, and they haven't been back or close since. Pass, that may be a behind the back. That may be a loose ball, and ASU has it, and the Sun Devils are in for a touchdown. It's Justin Watley. The avalanche of ASU's defense.
Well, this is pretty simple to see what happened here.
It could be a forward pass. Obviously, they'll take a closer look, but on the field.
On the field, they called it a fumble, and it is behind the receiver, even though it could have been going forward. Maybe a miscommunication between Svoboda and Tyler King. Either way, that ball's got to be a foot in front of the numbers for that guy to catch and get going. Maybe he turned it up a little too soon for Svoboda's liking, but just a terrible circumstance for Wyoming. Could have been going forward and pretty close.
Yeah, they'll look at the yardage, so automatic review.
And just the inability to complete some of the most simple plays to get a quarterback going, whether this is complete or not, it's been a nightmare for Wyoming all night. Is this forward, Dean?
Dean Blandino.
This, to me, looks like a forward pass. It's where it's released from, which looks like the 16, and then it's going to be first touch just beyond the 16. It's close, and the officials do a good job. When it's that close, let it play out, because now replay can come in, and if it's forward, they can make it incomplete. To me, this looks like a forward incomplete pass.
Especially if it's behind a guy, right? That's going to be really hard to call on the field.
Correct. Absolutely.
Good to see you, Dean.
It's great to see. Well, I can't see you guys. I'm watching the replays, but it's nice to hear you.
We're in a different part of the area here, but Dean, it's always nice to know you're watching. And let's take a look. This seems to support. Yeah, look at how close. Dean's right about the 16-yard line, but then at the 16.5 almost is where that receiver touches the ball.
King tries to kind of haul it in, but doesn't go after the ball. He could have fallen on that and made it a little bit less of a volatile situation as far as how the call ends up. Instead, he just kind of throttled down like it was incomplete, and everybody else kept playing.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Wow, that deserves a wow. It was that close. They're staying with it. So Justin Watley, and you know, this is kind of emblematic of the two teams, kind of a lackadaisical part of the Cowboys, and then ASU hustling to scoop it and score.
That's a good point. Not a lot of sense of urgency from Wyoming as the night has gone on. And another Cincinnati transfer, this time on defense, Justin Watley out of Cleveland with a touchdown. Mateer on the offensive side. All the transfers are performing, Chris.
Yeah,
because they're all transfers.
It's a program made of, we said 60 new players. It seems like everybody's getting into the act. A big defensive play, the second defensive score tonight for ASU, and it's 41-0. From bad to worse for Wyoming, and ASU there to take advantage. Last year, the Cowboys, their turnover margin, they were plus 11. It was tied for 4th in college football. Today, tonight, -3 in the desert. ASU with big defensive plays and a heads-up return by Justin Woodley.
And they're going to have a lot to make up for, emotionally, mentally, to try to build back their confidence here.
Svoboda, 4 out of 10, 2 interceptions. He's tried to run the ball on a couple of occasions, but has not been successful in this. Kind of the backward pass that looked like, as Dean Blandino, our rules analyst, explained it, it looked like he was inside the 16 and the receiver was a little beyond, but they ruled it a touchdown. Defensive score. They stayed with it on the field.
That's why you got to keep on playing. You can't trust that they're going to overturn it for you, even though Dean Blandino's right. Doesn't get you anything.
They'll be partying tonight in Tempe. Svoboda floating one, receiver looking the other way. They've gone from not having the names on the back of the jersey with Craig Bohl, who retired after a decade, establishing a tough Cowboy program.
Yeah, when Bohl took over, he got rid of all the uniform combinations. He got rid of the name on the back of the jersey, created a very blue-collar, workman-like identity for Wyoming football. The same that they have under Jay Sawvel. But the effort has been less and less as the game has gone on, and they look less and less engaged in the contest.
And the names are on the back of the jersey,
which is helpful.
Jones carries for a yard.
USC, no names on the back of the jerseys. Notre Dame, okay.
Yes, different here. But Keyshawn Elliott, junior, mentioned New Mexico State, had a career-high 11 tackles last year. Should lead this team in tackles this year. Had that early interception.
He's got great size. 6'2", 230.
And, you know, he was one of the transfers. We have a timeout, Arizona State. One of the transfers voted by players who's on the leadership council. They only have 2 of the recent transfers. Sam Levitt is the other that was voted by players on that leadership council along with Elliott. Yeah, we thought the offensive line a little healthier, intact for Wyoming would be a little bit stronger, but Svoboda, there's been pressure on him throughout this game.
They lost their left tackle, Nathan Geiger, in the first half, but Tulifono, Walsh, King, I mean, these guys have played a lot of football through the interior of that Wyoming offensive line, and Svoboda under pressure. And when he wasn't under pressure, he was throwing it straight to linebackers when the game started. It has just been a nightmare start for this new offense under Jay Johnson and the Jay Sawvel era.
Facing a 3rd down and 9. Only once have they crossed midfield. Svoboda floating one, and the receiver not quite there. Tyler King, who is the speedy receiver of the group.
Missed a couple of throws to the left, and that's going to be it.
ASU's leading tackler, by the way, in the game is Keyshawn Elliott with 7. And Miles Rouser next on the list with 5.
Couple of New Mexico State transfers.
Stovall back to receive the punt. No fair catch. He holds it in and hit right away. Conference realignment, we mentioned, first year in the expanding Big 12 for ASU. And when you look at the Big Ten with UCLA and Oregon and USC and Washington. And then how about Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC?
Yeah, and when I think about the Bay Area, Cal and Stanford, the first thing I imagine in my mind's eye is the Atlantic coast.
You kid.
It's going to take a while.
Because you care. Yeah, well, and I think,
to get used to.
I think regional rivalries, it's just going to shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, really, a long time ago, it started to be tradition and geography be damned in our sport, and it's going further.
The opinions shared of Petros Papadakis are not necessarily those of the entire college football world. However, it opens I'm excited about the 12 team. I think you open that up at the playoff. That helps.
Yeah, that makes it a lot more. I think you should get rid of committees. You know, there's nothing worse than a committee. If we can get some uniformity with scheduling between all the conferences, we won't need a committee.
First 12-team college football playoff. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions will be the top 4 seeds. The next 4 seeds get home playoff games. But we're just starting the season. That's at the end of what will be a longer season in college football. But at least you'll have some schools and programs that I think were kind of left out. If I go back to when Boise State upset Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so the Ian Johnson proposal afterwards.
You were right there, Chris. That was one of the great moments in college football history the last 30 years.
I remember he said he was going to propose. I thought he was going to propose a playoff system. Instead, it was to his girlfriend, and happily married after that. But progress, you have to change with the times. Here's a flag.
False start. Offense. Number 1. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's on Guillory. It's a little understandable here. Arizona State finally had to punt. An offensive mistake here and lining up. Kind of understandable as the night has gone on and kind of wore down. They have dominated this game. And like you say, Chris, I think it's great, all the realignment, but nobody knows what it's going to be like. Right?
Yeah, it's hard to predict.
Step into the world before we can say what we're gonna have.
Kyson Brown on the reception with a first down and across midfield. Kyson Brown, can he go all the way for another ASU touchdown? And he can. Dancing in the dark are the Sun Devils. Sam Levitt on the flip for the touchdown to Kyson Brown.
We talked about Brown, best camp of this very deep running back group. Just a sophomore. Last year they said he was too muscular, made him too stiff. This year he's loosened up a little bit.
The speedy back. Yeah, they said he worked on hip flexibility. You're a hip guy.
Oh, very hip flexible, no doubt about that. But I could see that he's too swole, you know, at his time, and he was a little stiff. You see him kind of stiffen up at the end of this run. Great moves though through the contact zone, and is able to open up that stride. And maybe he wouldn't have been able to finish that last year because he was too swole.
Yeah, and Sam Levitt, he gets credit for a 68-yard touchdown pass, and he just kind of fluttered a couple of yards out there and let Kyson Brown do the rest. But Levitt has played a very good game. He's protected the football. He's showing ASU he is the leader, the quarterback that they had hoped he could be.
And coming to this point in the game, I have to say, Arizona State's probably not this good.
Okay.
And Wyoming's probably not this bad.
I was just going to go there.
The circumstances of this game, I think, have gotten away from the Pokes, and Arizona State's playing with so much confidence. Could not have gone better for them. What a drive.
Kyson Brown for that 68-yard dash for a score, and he's staying on a kick team. That's pretty cool. That's something that
they have more depth and they can do that, you know.
Dillingham had talked about that. I mentioned that Cam.
After a touchdown, I used to take myself off the kickoff team. I'd put in L2.
And the coach was okay with that with you.
Sure. After you score a touchdown.
Okay. And Tyler King is bringing it out of the end zone to try and make something happen for Wyoming, and hit hard as they get up across the 25-yard line. And it was Jordan, let's see who that was on delivery. That was Cole Martin, excuse me, who delivered the hit.
Another transfer from Oregon. Good solid tackle on King.
Well, let's go back to that about how good it's tough to gauge in 3 quarters of football, but I think if we take the positive for Arizona State with an excitable, there's a young head coach who went through so much last year and admitted to you, hey, I learned some things about going through that process that are going to help me this year with my staff and the way we approach things, the overview as a head coach. DJ Jones will carry and be brought down right away.
Arizona State still playing hard up front, making it tough on the Pokes. Kongaika there. What you're talking about with Kenny Dillingham is interesting because I asked him, you bring in all these different recruits every year, all these transfers. How do you know what you have till the game start? And he said, well, you really don't. But the one thing we really try to do is recruit to what we are, recruit to our culture. And the better you can do that, the better you know what you're going to get out of the portal. Big hit there.
Miles on the catch. And the defense, that was Rodney Bimage Jr., freshman from Houston.
And now Arizona State with the blowout here, able to get a lot of different guys into the game, create more depth, create more experience. This is how success leads to success, and confidence leads to more of that. They've played with a lot of it tonight.
Svoboda in the pocket will dump it off. Jones knocked out of bounds. Well, you feel for a guy like Svoboda, who, you mentioned started, he's short here of the first down. Had that game-winning drive in the Arizona Bowl. Set up the field goal, beating Toledo.
Well, he was supposed to be the guy to make up for the fact that the Harrison Whaley and John Mike Gillenborg aren't here, but it's not been that at all.
On 4th and a yard.
He might have fought for it there at the end.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he was going to get it, did it?
Yeah, no, it looked like there was nothing happening. That surge should be enough.
DJ Jones, the backup, running an isolation play to the right. Tries to peel it back to the left, but...
Yeah, Crew Jackson made the stop, but he did get the first down. And just for good vibes for Svoboda in this offense to produce something, he's set to throw. He's got to get out of there. He's going nowhere. It's another sack. And some of the reserves coming in. Thunderbird got that one.
Havion Thunderbird out of Chicago. Right to the hips of Svoboda when he could not escape. And just not quick decision making from Svoboda. Either getting the ball out or deciding to scramble. Just hasn't been there tonight.
3rd sack of the game for the Arizona State defense as Jones carries again. I know the ASU defense, something Dillingham spoke about, was he wanted his defense to harass the football, whoever had it, and they've done that. They've taken the football away 3 different times in this game.
Yeah, they're going to have a great feeling watching this tape and celebrating each other and the camp that they had and the team that they've built and the staff that Coach Dillingham has put together. And Marcus Arroyo doing a great job as the offensive coordinator in his first year in the Valley of the Sun. I don't know how much better he could have done with a young quarterback calling plays tonight.
After 3 quarters, Arizona State from an early 7-0 interception return to a dominating performance in the desert. 48-0 as we head to the 4th. Start of the 4th quarter. Petros Papadakis, Chris Myers, thanks for hanging with us from Tempe, Arizona. The scoring, that's how it's gone for ASU. The Cowboys, it's a head shaker. They came in here, and after an early interception return for a touchdown by the Sun Devil defense, and another defensive touchdown on a pass that went back and was taken in from 6 yards out. The offense has been steady for ASU as well. Wyoming has crossed midfield just once, got to the 41-yard line of ASU. That's the best it's been. Sam Scott now has come in at running back.
I mean, the most positive thing that's happened for Wyoming in this game is that Arizona State missed a field goal. I mean, it has been that bad and that shocking for a team that's not used to getting blown out like this. They're not great at coming back when they get down, but 48-0, not something a lot of people saw coming.
Arizona product, Evans Svoboda from Mesa has had a rough go of things starting here in the desert, and on the move is incomplete. That'll bring up a 4th down. Jalen Sargent was the target. ASU has a chance here. Their biggest opening game victory. They beat Sacramento State back in 2013 by the score of 55-0. And another touchdown at extra point. They can equal that. They'll get the ball back here in a moment. There's Coach Dillingham working the sidelines. Colbreth, Stovall backing up, and inside the 12 where ASU will take over. The ground game, it was Scattaboo and Brooks.
Yeah, and that mid-zone of Marcus Arroyo, a little bit of a change from what Kenny Dillingham's offense has done over the years. Very successful. This O-line got a great push. Leaf Fontenot, the center, leading that group. And all 3 running backs. Why does the one get the trident? Why can't everybody get a trident to pose with?
Kyson Brown had that reception for the score, and we do have a new quarterback, Jeff Sims, the senior from Jacksonville, Florida, coming in and handing off as Sam Levitt. That's McCaskill on the carry. Levitt will leave 14 of 22, 258 yards and a couple of touchdowns and no turnovers. He also ran the ball in key spots, 8 rushes for 47 yards.
About as good of a debut as you can have as a young quarterback with a new coordinator in a revitalized program under Kenny Dillingham. They look a lot better than where they were picked, that's for sure. And Jeff Sims is a guy who really did, like we said earlier, compete in camp, but just a few too many mistakes.
And a successful runner himself across the 30. Played in 5 games, started 2 last year in his only season at Nebraska. It was able to transfer. It looks like we have an injured player, and that is Isaac White.
Yeah, their great safety got hurt tackling big Jeff Sims.
We'll step away for a moment. ASU leading and an injury on the field. Well, it looked really, really concerning here, but Isaac White able to head over to the sideline. He's Wyoming's leading tackler tonight with 9 tackles, and he'll be out the remainder of this game. Just under 14 minutes to play. ASU with the football. Alton McCaskill the back. And Jeff Sims has come in at quarterback. Gives to McCaskill, the junior from Conroe, Texas, and Sam Levitt. First start as an ASU Sun Devil.
Yeah, and when I watched his high school tape and watched some of the stuff at Michigan State last year, I was impressed with his ability to run. The cutting, the spinning. You can see that he's a freakish athlete, a hoops guy in high school in Oregon. Some of the short passes turned into some very long, successful runs for him. And they just set him up in a great situation. Marcus Arroyo, excellent play calling, a great mix, and leads to success for the young quarterback. He was about as poised as you could imagine.
McCaskill almost slipped through. Yeah, Sam Levitt had a great spring, and then the quarterback competition lasted for really just a couple of weeks, but he was the guy and showed that he should be the guy going forward for Arizona State. In the meanwhile, Jeff Sims in there, his uncle, Mike Sims Walker, remember, NFL wide receiver, mostly with the Jags. Yep. So
he's a good-looking athlete, no doubt about that.
NFL experience in the family. And getting the first down, fighting up to the 45-yard line for ASU.
That's Jason Brown Jr., fifth-string running back.
Kyson Brown had the, not related, 68-yard touchdown catch.
Yeah, he's 2. this Jason Brown is 22. So that's 4 backs that have all looked pretty good. McCaskill, who came from Houston and Colorado, Scadaboo, Brooks, Brown, and the other Brown.
And Jason Brown waits for some blocks. Tough yards to the 47-yard line of Wyoming. Picked up 8.
Seattle, Washington product, Jason Brown Jr. out of O'Day High School. You know who else went to O'Day High? Taylor Mays, the safety. Miles Gaskin, the great Washington running back.
Yes.
Miami Dolphin guy.
Played for the Dolphins.
Look at these improvements from last year. This looks like a different team, and it is a different team, but night and day offensively.
McCaskill comes back in. And looks like Sims turned around and, well, looks like they got enough for the first down. Didn't see the back, so he kept it.
Not a bad way to finish a broken play. It looks like both these quarterbacks, and this obviously very different circumstances than Sam Levitt started the game under, but Sims and Levitt both look very comfortable running this offense, and it's all a lot of new language and some very different concepts than that they were running last year after they had to make a change early and Kenny Dillingham took over the offense. But they look like they have a purpose.
McCaskill carries this time. Yeah, Jeff Sims mentioned the Nebraska transfer. Prior to that, he was at Georgia Tech for 3 seasons and started a total of 23 games. Had a couple actually. Let's see, 3 300-yard passing games when he was at Georgia Tech. Thought of more as a runner in this offense, but coming in to finish up for Sam Levitt. ASU maybe a touchdown favorite or so in this game. Took care of that from the opening bell. McCaskill knocked down right away. It'll bring up a third down.
Close to a delay there.
That's a movement. Well, if you're Wyoming, what's your approach when you get out of town?
Well, every coach is different. You know, sometimes you have a performance like this and a coach says, burn the tape and shut your eyes and burn the past. And we're just going to forget about it. I don't think that's what Coach Savell is going to do in this situation. I think that they're going to break this down and go back to the drawing board and try to create more of an offensive identity and get healthier.
Jason Brown with a first down inside the 30-yard line. Well, we asked Savell about, well, you've been there for 4 years. So we got to look at Jason Brown.
Yeah, these zone plays are just having so much success.
Against an experienced defense.
Yeah, we haven't even called Jordan Bertinoli's name today. He's defensive tackle and captain for Wyoming, an all-conference player. And they've been getting a lot of push between Coleman and Cade Briggs and Fontenot up front. They've done exactly what some of us thought Wyoming's offensive line would be able to do in this game.
Back to Brown, and this time they swarm and knock him back at the 30-yard line. Well, for Savell, he said he limping over to the sideline. Another
Connor Shea, they can't afford to lose him. This is his first career start, but he's got a lot of experience in this defense. And between him and Suianoa, they need those linebackers.
Senior from Danville, California. But after being the coordinator, he said, you know, I know they're going to look at me differently as the head coach, but I'm going to be the same guy stepping into that role. And in this first game, whatever it was, however they did it, I'm sure they'll make changes for the next opponent as McCaskill carries, because this is not Wyoming football, no matter who the opponent is.
No, it feels as if, and you have to give Arizona State the credit.
Absolutely.
Arizona State created this environment. Arizona State took their chain, so to speak, and just snatched it off Wyoming's neck. That being said, Wyoming could not avoid being deflated by the first play of the game, the first pass of the game, first series, and then the second series, another interception. And the player they were looking to carry them offensively just wasn't there for them in that game in Svoboda, and they haven't been able to recover from that deflation nation.
Sims keeps himself. And the meshing for Arizona State, you couldn't have scripted it any better. Getting big defensive plays and really beating Wyoming at their own game. The takeaways, they've run the ball with success, run it hard at them, at the opponent.
They've started this game and created confidence and identity, and for Jay Savell, they've lost confidence and identity in this first game, and then they're going to have to go back to Laramie and reclaim it.
Ian Hershey make that. Karsten Kiefer will be off the mark after Hershey had missed his last kick from 38. Kiefer misses from 43 wide left. Well, without Harrison Whaley, the knee injury, and they hope that he'll be back. He's going to miss some time, but outstanding running back, the senior. See the numbers that he has produced for Wyoming, and when that took place, and then the surgery, it was early August, and then you throw in the Michael Gillenborg ankle injury, so they're two top offensive players out of the picture, and it's gone south for Wyoming since, as Caden Anderson, the redshirt freshman from Southlake, Texas, comes in for Evans Svoboda.
Yeah, we thought maybe we'd see Jaden Clemens, who's a senior, but instead they go with the freshman to get him a little bit of experience.
Farrell is the back. He's going deep. Anderson, and incomplete.
Takes a hit right between the numbers and the back. Second play of the game for him.
Chris Durr, the young receiver for Wyoming from Chicago.
Yeah, freshman.
Target.
At a Morgan Park High School, had a great camp and a great spring, and they need to develop some playmaking on the perimeter, and they need to get Harrison Whaley, that home run hitting running back,
And Chris Durr hauls that in from Anderson, who was a three-star prospect from Dallas area power, Southlake Carroll. Top coach Riley Dodge there. Succeeded Quinn Ewers, Heisman candidate this season at Texas. We've talked about him. You'll see him on next Saturday with Texas, Michigan on Fox.
Game of the year.
But changing quarterbacks still didn't work. Not against this ASU team, not tonight. That last shutout was by Arizona State. Was that 2013 game against Sacramento State that we mentioned. Inside the 25-yard line is Stovall. ASU will take over on offense with a 48-0 advantage. Late night, a good night. Sun Devils last shutout. Mentioned 2013 against Sacramento State. It's 48-0 here against Wyoming, a 9-win team of last year from Mountain America Stadium in Tempe on FS1. ASU with the football. The reserves are in. As Jeff Sims carrying. And this, we mentioned the 2-minute timeout that college football has added before the half of the fourth quarter. They've also added the communication. You see the green dot, offensive. Usually it's the quarterback and a key member on defense. In this case, from Suiano, it's Evan Eller who has come in to take the defensive signals. Of course, the NFL has had this for a while. It shuts off after a certain amount of time, and it's something that we're so used to seeing so many theatrical sign-giving antics.
They still have them.
And they still use them, but this has to help.
It does, but then you're doing it against the defensive guy who's also got a mic in his head too, so it's a lot more thinking for both coordinators up until that 15-second moment. You got to be careful, because sometimes you could just yell at the player and tell him what he's doing wrong before you even get the play call in.
And I would imagine too how the coordinator speaks to the particular player at the right moment. Sometimes you need a little giddy up. Sometimes you need, like, hey, we got this. We're stay with it.
Yeah, and it depends on the crowd noise situation.
There were a few games I was watching earlier.
Yeah, Nebraska was wild.
Yeah.
Brock Heward was explaining that pretty well. Definitely a new twist, and something probably a long time coming.
Just short of the 30-yard line is Eusebio from the slot. Usually Derek Eusebio, receiver there from Plano, Texas, a freshman who gets a carry.
One of the things Kenny Dillingham said that I thought was really interesting is that, it's a lot easier for the NFL to get this stuff done. They have a certain amount of owners. They only vote if they're all going to vote yes. And they get together and they make these decisions. College football, 100-plus teams, all kinds of different movement. Different regions of the country and different types of universities, a lot harder to have change implemented.
And when you have, players that are in their 6th or 7th or 8th year in college football, unheard of. The passes, that goes out of bounds. History of the making as Tom Brady makes his long-awaited debut in the Fox booth with Kevin Burkhardt, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi for a can't-miss season opener. It's the Cowboys with Dak Prescott taking on the Browns and Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. That's next Sunday. The NFL kicks off 4 Eastern, and you'll see it and hear Tom Brady only on Fox.
Rinaldi's a good-looking guy, but that's a tough quartet for him to be in there.
So they all look like models up there.
Yeah, that's, look at this guy putting on a show. Everybody's like, I'm going to go see Arizona State and watch the game. This kid's like, I'm going to go do yo-yo tricks.
I'll tell you who's pulling all the right strings is Kenny Dillingham. Nearly 500 yards of total offense for Arizona State. And here comes the 2-minute timeout.
Where's the yo-yo guy?
Yeah, right. Make a star of this kid after dark.
Look at that.
All right. Yo-yoing in the desert. He is entertaining the folks, including the mascot.
Sparky loves it.
That's it. Did you major in that when you were back? I'm kidding.
I actually have. I have some yo-yo skills, but
you do?
Not compared to that kid. I can walk the dog.
He's all conference with that yo-yo.
All Big 10. Oh no, Big 12.
Big 12. Sorry. This may be one of the bigger offensive plays for Wyoming as Sam Scott, the junior from Omaha, Nebraska, carries. Former linebacker, moved to running back.
Played a lot last year, about 49 carries.
Picked up 17 yards.
Big dude, 6'2", 230.
Wyoming does have all 3 timeouts. I only bring that up because to get any kind of points would be encouraging, and a good completion to the 30-yard line to Tyler King.
Trying to find something positive, Chris, just like you said. And it's been all the way to the last couple minutes of the game to get anything going.
Caden Anderson hands it back to Scott. This time not much. For Wyoming, their home opener against the Vandals of Idaho next, and then home against BYU.
And Idaho Vandals played great today at Eugene. Really left some Duck fans wondering what their team was really like after that one.
Pass is caught. See that spot? A little short of the first down. That's Isaac Schoenfeld. Need a yard. This is the closest they've been. And it looks like he got knocked back. Scott got near the superimposed line there to show the first down marker. And I don't think they're going to give it to him. Let's see. Well, looks like
he had some second effort and got closer.
So they did give him credit for the first down at the 19-yard line. Caden Anderson's throw, and there should be a flag, and there is. Jalen Sargent was the target, and looked like the penalty it was Bimmage.
Defense, number 19.
Yeah, Bimmage Jr.
Previous spot, automatic first down.
With the ball in the air.
And never turns his head and pushes him out of bounds. Sargent, no chance there because of the PI.
20 seconds left on a 1st and goal for Wyoming. Their best chance of scoring all night.
Well, you don't want to get shut out. There's no doubt about that, but 48-7 doesn't feel that much better.
For Caden Anderson, it might feel good to have produced some points, but he can't get to the end zone. There was an opening there. There was an opportunity.
He lost his footing, the young freshman. The seas parted for him, and now that the ocean has turned to yogurt, I've lost my spoon. The old Greek saying.
And it's all Greek to me. You set me up for that. 12 seconds timeout, and
they got that timeout, Chris. You called it.
I know of your great Greek heritage. And it's tough to have a sense of humor if you're over on that sideline.
Oh man, what a night for Wyoming. Just not what they expected at all. And not the way they wanted to start out the Jay Sawvel era and this new era of a more imaginative offense under Jay Johnson. But the imagination offensively and all the confidence and development and identity is there with Kenny Dillingham. And you see what they got coming up. Mississippi State not going to be easy.
Yep, the Texas Tech, that first Big 12 conference game.
At Texas Tech going to Lubbock, that's rough. They're a good team with a great back.
Can Wyoming avoid the shutout? Handoff, and Scott is brought down. 3rd and goal. Wyoming will use their 2nd timeout and have 1 remaining. So if you're on that defense for Arizona State, you say we've dominated this whole game. That last shutout was more than a decade ago, and we'd love to keep the Cowboys out of the end zone. That's what's next for Wyoming.
Air Force, San Diego State, September 28th, October 12th. Calhoun knows what he's doing at Air Force. San Diego State with a brand new coach, Sean Lewis, was coordinating last year at Colorado. Things didn't go great there.
Still 1 timeout.
2 shots, Chris.
Throwing. Catch made for the end zone. And in for the touchdown is Chris Durr, the freshman from the freshman, Caden Anderson.
The young physical receiver from Chicago who's had a really nice camp, shown good catch radius. Chris Durr creating some better feelings on the Wyoming sideline and headed back to Laramie. And great for the young freshman, as you mentioned.
And we know that Arizona State brought in some of the reserves and backup players on defense, but you wonder if Caden Anderson had maybe had an opportunity earlier with the struggles of the starting quarterback. The extra point, John Hoyland. 48-7.
An arrow route. Feigns like he's going in, comes back out. Delivered pretty well by the freshman quarterback. And a couple of young guys with something good to remember in their first game.
Something maybe to build on for Wyoming. And a mention of Jack Culbreth, the transfer punter who kicked 8 times for Wyoming tonight.
But that's a myth. If the punter kicks that much that his leg is tired, they're able to punt a whole lot.
Well, he did average 47 yards a kick.
It's not like he's going to have to ice his leg. You know, they punt all day.
And they rest all day.
Yeah, I mean, while the rest of everybody else practices and bleeds and sweats.
You sound like you're annoyed with.
No, I like the punters, but they stretch and they kick. So if you have to kick it a bunch of times when people are like, oh, they're going to have to ice the leg, it's like, well, come on.
Well, it's never a good sign when your punter is
it's not.
8 times in a game. But at least Wyoming gets a touchdown with 2 seconds remaining in this most disappointing opener for the Cowboys on the road and the start to his head coaching career.
Face says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah. Jake Smith is back to receive if he has the chance. And that's a wrap. Arizona State, couple of defensive touchdowns. Excellent performance from Sam Levitt, his first start as a Sun Devil for Kenny Dillingham in his second season as head coach, trying to turn around a 3-9 program. 60 new players, and Levitt, the leader of the pack. He threw for over 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns, but really the defense set the tone right away for ASU.
A couple of turnovers, taking all the confidence away from that new Wyoming offense, and that's exactly how you wanted things to start with Kenny Dillingham in his second year with a young quarterback and some unproven identity. They took some steps forward to keep creating that and activating the Valley here. Very promising for Arizona State. They look a lot better than they were advertised coming into the season, and Wyoming, sadly, looks a lot worse.
Yeah, and if ASU did pay any attention to any of those preseason prognostications about where they rank in the Big 12, at least they took care of business to start things. This has been a college football FS1 production. For Petros Papadakis, Chris Myers, our entire crew, thanks for being a part of it as ASU out to a 48-7 win in their 2024 opener.
The college football landscape will look very different this fall, from a new expanding playoff format to conference realignment. Our Chris the Bear Felica has more on what to expect in this season of change.
Forget everything you thought you knew about college football. It's all nostalgia now.
This is a new era of college football. Everybody is expanding.
The last year has brought seismic change to the sport, most notably with conference realignment, where a Power 4 now exists. The Pac-12 is no more. Its members, outside of Oregon State and Washington State, have been dispersed to the Big 10, Big 12, and ACC. SMU also found a home in the new-look ACC, while Oklahoma and Texas moved to the SEC. The college football playoff now features 12 teams, where the 5 highest-ranked conference champions receive automatic bids, with the top 4 seeds also earning a first-round bye. The true beauty of the new-look playoff, opening round games on campus at the site of the higher seed. Seeds 5, 6, 7, and 8 will host first-round playoff games, and playoff access is now guaranteed to the highest-ranked champion of a non-Power 4 league. The evolution of the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness has given players control like they've never had before. Want to play somewhere else? Enter your name in the transfer portal, where schools will see you're open for recruitment. Players are also now free to earn compensation through NIL. Got all that? Great. If you don't, no worries. No quiz will be given.
I A lot of changes, including in the rules, too. One player on the field for each team will be able to hear from their coach in their helmet up to the 15-second mark in the play clock. There will be an automatic timeout with 2 minutes to go in the second and fourth quarters. They're calling it the 2-minute timeout, not the 2-minute warning. And teams will have the option to use tablets for in-game video, something I know Coach Pete really loves. As we welcome you inside our brand new spacious college football playroom.
Nice in here.
Yeah.
Man cave.
Just like this. Film room. This is part of Acho's house, if you didn't know or not. He allowed us to do this, man.
Thanks for inviting us over.
Thank you, man. Thank you for the change. We had to have a change of settings sometimes, man, in our film room. Everything that we talked about, man, the changes in the offseason, whatever we've seen over the last couple of seasons from the playoffs to the transfer portal, is it good or bad for football?
Yes, to both. I mean, it is. There's a lot of good. I mean, that playoff's going to be awesome. Players getting paid. I think it's about time for that type of stuff. But I do think with so much money going towards football, that you're going to really start to see some of the separation between the haves and the have-nots. I've just felt that. There's so much money going to these power conferences, the group of fives. It's going to be very, very hard for them to keep up. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about college football is the underdogs and the small guys having a chance to battle the big guys.
That's very well said. I think it's great for the athletes today. I think it's terrible for them tomorrow.
Okay.
At the University of Texas, I didn't start as a freshman. I rotated in as a sophomore, but the resiliency that built in me as a football player and as a man, it paid dividends years and years and years later. And this day and age, if you're not starting instantly, just go transfer. Oh, if you're not starting as a freshman, it's all good. The rival program will take you. Okay. You can get on the field there, and you might not even be able to get on the field there, but they'll sell you a dream and let you think you can. So I believe that it's great for the athletes today. You can get a lot more money. You can play instantly. Back in the day, you had to sit out a year. But I don't know, Mike, if it's great for the athletes tomorrow, because how will that actually impact them going forward? How will that impact them as men as they navigate things, especially talking football?
I agree wholeheartedly. And then you throw money into that. And the pull is so strong to transfer. You know, things didn't go exactly like I thought. I didn't get quite the reps. I didn't get quite the balls I thought I was going to get. And then somebody's going to give me a little more money. That doesn't mean that's necessarily the best thing to do, but I think the pull is so strong that sometimes guys are going to make decisions for not the best reason.
Let's talk about one of the players that you just saw on your screen, the quarterback Quinn Ewers. He was at Southlake Carroll. Remember, he let go of his senior year in high school, gentlemen, to go to Ohio State. I just told y'all, he's from Texas. Went to Ohio State because word on the street was he was getting $1 million in an NIL deal. Left Ohio State to go back to Texas, and now he's been at Texas for the last several years. I just wonder, how would his journey have been without NIL? Would he have finished out his senior year in high school? Then would he have just gone to Texas the entire time? And would he have had a more stable collegiate career? Obviously, it still worked out for him. Last year, goes to the playoffs, leads Texas to the playoffs for the first time ever. But you just wonder, how is this impacting the psyche of men? How is this impacting their self-esteem? Think of DJ Uiagalelei. He's at Clemson. He doesn't work out at Clemson. Then he goes to Oregon State. It kind of works out at Oregon State. Then he goes to Florida State. Thus far, through 1 week, it seems a demise there. It's just a lot for these kids.
I love it. I love it. Everything, the good and the bad and indifference. But haven't we gotten to the point where we can also admit that college football is a business? That this is a business now. You know what I mean? I mean, it's been a business maybe for a long time for the teams and for the conferences or whatever. Now the players are being involved. So when you throw money in there, how can it be so bad for them when they're putting everything on the line for themselves? I mean, I know they want to go to the NFL. I know they want to get an education, but it's also about what's best for them.
Yeah, and it is about business. And I think you're seeing more and more of that. And it's just, college athletics is trying to thread this needle between like professional type sports and amateur athletics on the same campus.
Right.
And it's almost impossible to do. And I think that's really the problem that so many administrators and everybody going forward is figuring out, how is this going to go? Because every time they turn around, someone's about ready to get sued.
All right, so let me break this down before we go. Unless they regulate it, unless they get some kind of salary cap or whatever, it's going to continue to go like this.
Collective bargaining is
collective bargaining is something to balance out the scale. So in 5 years, if we continue to go down this road, where will college football be?
I can confidently say I have no idea.
Yeah.
Anybody saying anything with confidence is lying to you and would be lying to y'all to my left and to my right. Coach, there's no way to have an idea where college football will go. I know it will still be captivating. I know fans will still watch. I know we will still be here talking about it, but I cannot guarantee, Coach, where it goes.
I think there might be a breakaway again. of the biggest and baddest and best football programs, and that might help everything. So,
we're talking about like two major conferences and everything else and everything?
And it might be conferences. It might be 40 teams. I don't know, but something like that.
More like an NFL model in a sense. All right. You know, like you said, I think it will be captivating, and people will still continue to watch.
No doubt.
Speaking of watch, plenty of change coming soon for this man right here.
No doubt about it. Well, look, Tuesday, y'all better do this one thing. Catch the premiere of my new show, The Facility. I will be joined by Eagles all-time rushing leader LaShawn Shady McCoy, James Jones, Chase Daniel. You do not want to miss this brand new show that's 10 a.m. Eastern on FS1. It's about to go down.
I'll have my popcorn ready.
Better.